Part 37. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 366. The business that Pei Jingshu said was definitely not because she was afraid of infecting Gu Huiyan and delaying his performance, but because she was afraid that if one of them caught a cold, they would no longer be able to eat noodles together. It took so many days to heal myself up here, but one of the two of them must not get sick again. I'm obviously worried about your health. Could you please not misunderstand other people's good intentions? Gu Huiyan shrugged and silently handed a cup of tea to Pei Jingshu. She rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan and took the water. Pei Jingshu didn't worry about Gu Huiyan poisoning her at all. She held the warm water close to her red lips and took a sip. In winter, Pei Jingshu always likes to wear bright-colored clothes, such as light white, light green. These colors are always her favorite, and she is definitely a goddess of bright colors. Fresh colors match her. Her temperament always goes well with her. Her tall figure can make any clothes look slim, and she is a natural clothes hanger. Outside the window, there is the red wall of the Forbidden City. The trees along the road have lost all their leaves, leaving only dry branches. It snowed some time ago, and there are still piles of unmelted snow at the feet of the trees. Pedestrians are wrapped in thick. Although the warm sun in winter is very dazzling, it has not dispelled the severe cold in the north at all. Against that background, Pei Jingshu's fair and tender face looked even more bright and attractive. Gu Huiyan felt that there should be a camera at this moment, so that he could record Pei Jingshu's beautiful face. This face is really beautiful no matter what time you look at it. And he didn't know if it was Gu Huiyan's misunderstanding, but he always felt that Pei Jingshu's temperament had changed a bit recently. It used to be like a very pure jasmine flower, very pure. But since the two of them ate noodles for the first time that night, I felt that her temperament had changed inexplicably. The freshness aspect has not changed, but it just gives people a more mature feeling. Well, almost. It feels like she has completely transitioned from the girlish stage. This change did not affect her original temperament. Instead, it served as the finishing touch, making Pei Jingshu look like a flower in bloom, exuding even more charm. She also participated in an offline event in Shanghai a few days ago. It was a perfume endorsement event, and she couldn't avoid it. On that day, Pei Jingshu appeared in a pure white tube-top dress. As soon as she got off the car, the group of people almost fainted with her beauty. Later, this matter became a hot search topic, and the name was #The sky is falling, but Sister Pei's beauty is holding it up. His temperament may have changed, but his person has definitely stayed the same. He is always shy, which makes Gu Huiyan quite helpless. Of course, it's quite enjoyable. If Pei Jingshu wasn't shy, she wouldn't really be her. In short, Gu Huiyan is quite satisfied with his current life. After coming out of the roast duck restaurant, Gu Huiyan took Pei Jingshu to his apartment in the capital. Originally, Pei Ya must have planned to take Pei Jingshu to stay in a hotel. They usually have some work in the capital, so there are several hotels where they often stay, and the doors are clear. But Gu Huiyan made an invitation and invited Pei Jingshu to live at his place. Pei Jingshu had been there before. Although the apartment was not large, it was better than the hotel at least, and the supporting facilities would be more complete. Pei Ya definitely disagrees. She may be used to singing blackface, so she is not very used to giving Gu Huiyan a good face. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu did not agree immediately. Instead, she dragged her cheeks with her beautiful hands and said, "Let me think about it." Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan was stunned at that time. He thought Pei Jingshu would agree directly. Pei Jingshu glanced at him sideways, with an inexplicable charm in her eyes. The reason why she didn't agree directly was because she was afraid that living with this guy would make her sleepless at night. She didn't sleep well last night and she was still sleepy. If it was like this every day, Would she still be alive? The key to the problem is that Gu Huiyan is very physically active because he usually exercises. It is really possible that he does this every day. So Pei Jingshu had to consider living separately from this guy. Oh. That look in her eyes made Gu Huiyan feel right at her, and she felt a little embarrassed for a moment. Pei Yat. Aiming. Staff. Aim. At that time, everyone looked at the two of them with strange eyes. Oh what? Pei Jingshu's pretty fair face turned red and she couldn't help but push Gu Huiyan a few times. She also couldn't understand how she could be looked at with such ambiguous eyes by others without saying anything. She really couldn't stand this kind of ambiguous looks. For example, when she attended a perfume event in Shanghai a few days ago, those people liked to make jokes about eating noodles with her, and then the whole audience burst into laughter with all kinds of ambiguous looks. It all made her a little bit unbearable. Whenever she encounters this kind of situation, she will say in her heart, "It's all Gu Huiyan's fault. It's all his fault." This time is definitely no exception. Gu Huiyan has to bear this big blame, whether he takes it or not. Ha. Gu Huiyan laughed, but it was impossible for you to let this old man give up. He grabbed Pei Jingshu's hand and said, "The worst case scenario is that I stay with you in a hotel, it's the same thing." You. Pei Jingshu's face turned red and she felt like the others were looking at her strangely again. She was also helpless towards Gu Huiyan. You said we were not together in a long-distance relationship before. She missed him every day and wished she could stick with him every day. Now we can finally see each other every day, and we don't even need to be separated. We can even go to the Spring Festival Gala together. But she was afraid of Gu Huiyan and wanted to avoid her. Thinking that even if she stayed in a hotel anyway, this old man would stick to her and she couldn't escape him no matter what, so Pei Jingshu had no choice but to agree. In this way, after dinner, they headed to Gu Huiyan's apartment in the capital. The place is not big, but the decoration is pretty good, and it is quite cozy. It has all kinds of facilities, including a coffee machine. It will not offend Pei Jingshu, and it is definitely better than a hotel. After confirming this, Pei Yai had no objection and asked the assistant to open a hotel room nearby so that they could be picked up to work. It is worth mentioning that when entering the door, Pei Jingshu found that the password of Gu Huiyan's house had been changed, which made her a little unhappy. Her originally good mood became not so good at that time. After breaking up for so long, she didn't even bother to change her home password, and she didn't even bother to block Gu Huiyan's Vmail or phone number. How good is this guy that he changed his home password and never told her? Thinking of this, she couldn't feel better. After her sister left, she sat on the sofa alone and ignored Gu Huiyan. "I have to go to the company. Would you like to go with me or take a rest?" After putting down her things, Gu Huiyan asked Pei Jingshu if she didn't have any rest last night. She had been out of energy all morning. The plane was noisy and she couldn't sleep well. "You go ahead, I don't want to go." Pei Jingshu glanced at him, shook her head, and said nothing. Although something felt a little wrong, Gu Huiyan didn't think much about it. He thought she was sleepy, so he went to help her make the bed. Although Gu Huiyan's apartment in the capital doesn't come back very often and only goes out for 10 days and a half, it is cleaned regularly. Of course, the money is not paid by Gu Huiyan. Since the apartment is rented by the company, the cleaning must be all done by the company. The biggest advantage of having a company is that if you become popular, the company can be fully responsible for all your high-quality life. "I'm leaving." Before leaving, Gu Huiyan kissed Pei Jingshu on the head. Pei Jingshu looked up at him with a look that was a little pitiful, and the way she hesitated to speak was quite distressing. This made Gu Huiyan feel strange, and he couldn't help but scratch his head and asked, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" He even raised his hand and touched Pei Jingshu's head, really afraid that she had a fever. No. Pei Jingsha shook her head, forced a smile to Gu Huiyan, and said. I'm just too tired. I want to take a nap. You guys should go. I'll just take a rest after you leave. Gu Huiyan felt relieved when she smiled. After thinking about it, he said. I'll go back quickly and try to come back as early as possible. After saying this, he even joked. I'll buy you something delicious when I come back tonight. Are you coaxing a child? Pei Jingshu had black lines on her forehead, and was dumbfounded by Gu Huiyan's childishness. If you want to coax a child, you have to buy him candy. Gu Huiyan shook his head and smiled, said something casually, then waved and went out. Be safe. Pei Jingshu watched Gu Huiyan leave. She didn't know why, but she suddenly felt like in TV dramas, where a wife watches her husband go to work. I guess you'll be waiting for him to come home at night, right? I should prepare dinner and wait for him to come home. The life of an ordinary married couple is probably like this. To be honest, if there was no door code, it would be possible for Pei Jingshu to cook dinner for Gu Huiyan. Right now, I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in that mood. She was not a girl who liked to have a bad temper, and she was even less likely to lose her temper with Gu Huiyan directly because of such things, but she felt a little aggrieved. If you don't speak out, you will be even more aggrieved. But say it, but I can't say it. Girls are always a collection of contradictions. Click. Gu Huiyan waved goodbye to Pei Jingshu, closed the door and left. As the door closed, Gu Huiyan's face disappeared through the crack of the door, and the smile on Pei Jingshu's face could no longer be maintained. The assistant has just left to put things away and will be here later. Although the house was not big, it was quiet, and she felt a little lonely alone. I don't always want to think about the password to Gu Huiyan's apartment, but I can't help but think about it. This makes Pei Jingshu unhappy and has no interest in doing anything. And just at this time. Ding, click. At the door, the sound of pressing the code to open the door sounded. Pei Jingshu turned her head and looked over strangely, and saw Gu Huiyan, wrapped in a thick coat, wearing the old actor grey peaked cap and mask, leaving and returning. Why are you back? Pei Jingshu thought he had forgotten to take something, but Gu Huiyan said. I forgot to tell you that the password at home has been changed. Once before, an illegitimate fan got in by guessing the password and almost scared me to death. He lowered his head and typed on his phone while saying. I'll send you the new password, otherwise you won't be able to get out. When Gu Huiyan mentioned this, he wanted to scold her. Sometimes he really admired those bastards. The privacy of the community he lived in was actually relatively good. That's it. Not only could those bastards sneak in, but what the hell? I can get his password right? God knows how frightened Gu Huiyan was when he came in that night and found someone staying at home. There just happened to be something that the assistant could help bring up that day, otherwise Gu Huiyan Hunter would be scared to death. Illegitimate meals are so awesome. Gu Huiyan should be lucky that this illegitimate meal is waiting for him to come back in the living room at home. Then some illegitimate meals come to artists' homes, and some hide under the bed, waiting for him to come back. The artist fell asleep and then secretly came out. It's so scary. Of course, Gu Huiyan should be more fortunate that the person who came in was an illegitimate fan rather than a black fan. It happened to be the time when Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu had just broken up, and when the turmoil was the biggest, if a black fan had chopped Gu Huiyan with a knife. It's true offline, so it's even more unlucky. Speaking of which, during that time, everyone was pushing her against him. Gu Huiyan thought that he had no fans to support him anymore. At that time, he was very moved by having a bastard meal, so he didn't care much about it. He warned her not to come again and let her go. Got her. Dong dong. Gu Huiyan, who was typing on his phone, didn't notice anything unusual about Pei Jingshu. When he was almost done typing, he realized that Pei Jingshu didn't answer him at all. Just now I felt that something was not right with Pei Jingshu since she got home. Gu Huiyan came back to check on her because she was worried. He was about to raise his head and ask Pei Jingshu if she felt unwell. Who knows? I go. As a gust of fragrant wind came, Pei Jingshu suddenly ran over and hugged Gu Huiyan. Well. Gu Huiyan didn't even recover, so she took the initiative and kissed him. Gu Huiyan, who was forcibly kissed, was still confused until the last moment. He still looked confused, with question marks written all over his face, and he had no idea what happened. Pei Jingshu's kiss didn't last long. Maybe she wasn't used to this kind of initiative, and even her kissing skills were quite raw. She only kissed Gu Huiyan for a short while, then she blushed and ran away. No, that, ahem. Gu Huiyan coughed lightly, licked his lips and said. I really want to go out. If you do that, you will wait for me to come back. His eyes seemed to say, you're not so impatient, are you? Even the old man was secretly guessing that Pei Jingshu was unhappy because she didn't want him to leave, right? Dirty. Dirty. No. What to say? Pei Jingshu blushed and patted him. It was soft and not painful, and her shy look was very interesting. Pei Jingshu was a little ashamed at this time. She thought that Gu Huiyan changed her password because of their breakup. When she thought that she hadn't changed her password but Gu Huiyan had changed it, there would be a bit of a gap and she would naturally feel unbalanced. She was still sad for a while because of this matter. She didn't want to look good on Gu Huiyan just now. But after a long time of commotion, it turned out that Gu Huiyan changed his password because he was harassed by the bastard. It's her fault, she should ask Gu Huiyan what's going on. Thinking about it now, it seems that she was also responsible for their breakup. She had obviously noticed something wrong with Gu Huiyan before, but she had never asked about it. Sometimes she also wonders, if she asked, would Gu Huiyan tell her? Thinking of this, Pei Jingshu couldn't help hugging Gu Huiyan. Her slender jade hands wrapped in a pure white sweater wrapped around Gu Huiyan's waist. She whispered. We have to talk about everything in the future, and we can't keep it in our hearts no matter what, okay? Ah, of course. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised that she was so sensational, but Pei Jingshu's condition was much better now, much stronger than before, which made Gu Huiyan feel a little more relieved. But at the same time, I will also wonder, what is going on? Okay, let's go. Pei Jingshu had no intention of explaining it at all. Anyway, the misunderstanding had been resolved, so just treat it as a minor incident and didn't show up. There was no need to tell Gu Huiyan. Oh. Gu Huiyan was pushed away by Pei Jingshu. She stood at the door and watched Gu Huiyan go. She really looked like a wife sending her husband to work. It's just that this wife's beauty is a bit outrageous. Most people who have such a beautiful wife would probably wish they could just stay at home and watch over her every day. After sending Gu Huiyan away, Pei Jingshu closed the door and stood at the door, looking at the empty and quiet home. She didn't know why, but her mood was completely different from before. Obviously I wasn't very happy just now. There was no one at home and I felt a little lonely. It was quiet and a little cold. But now, not only is this not the case, but I also feel that the heating in my home is very powerful and quite warm. This apartment has very good lighting. The wall between the balcony and the bedroom is open, making it very spacious. The afternoon sunlight refracts through the windows, making it warm. Pei Jingshu picked up her phone, looked at the home password that Gu Huiyan sent to her, walked to the kitchen to find a coffee machine, made herself a cup of coffee, and then walked to the window with the coffee to bask in the sun for a while. She covered the sofa with something and squinted for a while. When her assistant came, she asked her assistant to take her to the supermarket and bought some food, thinking about making dinner for Gu Huiyan. Be warm. Of course, she didn't buy much because there are a lot of things in Gu Huiyan's refrigerator, especially the freezer section, basically everything is lacking. It's also because he has a concert in Suzhou this month and he doesn't have time to come back. He doesn't have vegetables and fruits at home to worry about getting pregnant. Otherwise, I guess these will be the same. Some. In short, Pei Jingshu was in a good mood this afternoon. Of course, she also enjoys this lazy and comfortable life. She thought that it would be nice to be a gentle full-time wife. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down-to-earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 367. Gu Huiyan was very annoyed to come to the company. Because these people are really good at forcing people to do things, the conference room is always very noisy and noisy. Previously, because he was deeply involved in the public opinion of the breakup controversy, all aspects of work were stagnant. For more than half a year, Gu Huiyan created almost no value for the company, which attracted many people's dissatisfaction. Now that the turnaround was finally over, they were cleansed and all kinds of jobs came to their door. They naturally hoped that Gu Huiyan would quickly take on all kinds of jobs to make up for the KPIs in the first half of the year. It always happened like this every time he came to the company, which made Gu Huiyan a little annoyed. He let the people in the conference room talk about it, so he simply stayed away and put on his headphones to send a message to Pei Jingshu. "What are you doing?" Gu Huiyan asked. "Sleep," Pei Jingshu replied with 2 words. "Can you still reply to messages while sleeping?" "Yes, I came back in my dream." "Why didn't you say that I was dreaming too?" "You are indeed like a dream all day long." Smiley face. "Aren't you having a meeting at the company? Why do you have time to chat?" Picture they talk about theirs and I talk about mine. No delay. They don't dare to say anything about me anyway. Playing a big role. Haha, I'm just exercising my rights as a leading artist. It seems that you didn't tell them about not renewing the contract, otherwise you would probably have lost even the most basic human rights. That's not the case, is it? Who knows, when can you come back? I'll probably stay a while longer. Why are you missing me? Smiley face. Whatever you think. Pei Jingshu always likes to send that smiling expression. Even when chatting privately, she will not behave like a young woman in love. That expression is like a symbol of her. I'll try to go back as soon as possible. Gu Huiyan has been so sweet lately that Pei Jingshu sometimes feels that she is a bit lost. The two of them chatted like this for a while. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu responded to the messages very quickly at first, but later she started to reply a little slowly, and she didn't know what she was doing. *U0026% UN #at. The conference room was still noisy and chaotic. Fortunately, Zhang Ma was in charge there, otherwise there would have been a huge quarrel. It is worth mentioning that Mother Zhang did not reject the suggestions of some responsible persons for Gu Huiyan to take over the job after the new year. On the one hand, Gu Huiyan had been silent for so long and it was indeed time for him to get busy with work. On the other hand, it was also because I'm about to leave the company I've been with for several years. At least I can finally create more profits for them, so I won't offend anyone by terminating the contract. This company has been with Gu Huiyan for a long time. It has gone through many controversies with Gu Huiyan, a problem artist, and suffered a lot of scolding with him. No matter what, it must give others good things. Gu Huiyan has no objection to this. Having a job is a good thing. Later in the meeting, someone talked to Gu Huiyan about contract renewal, but Gu Huiyan just nodded and said, "I know, let's talk about it." Similarly, there was also talk about next year's tour, but every time this topic came up, Jiang's mother would take the initiative to change it and say that she would talk to Gu Huiyan alone. Touring, strictly speaking, should be Gu Huiyan's own company's business next year. Anyone with a discerning eye can see at this point that Gu Huiyan probably doesn't intend to renew the contract. Their company has actually restricted Gu Huiyan's development. Although it may be a bit dissatisfying, there is nothing that can be done about it. Gu Huiyan also promised them in the end, they were busy working for a while, and there would be cooperation in the future if possible, so they couldn't say anything. Harmony brings wealth. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan is really lucky that he is cooperating with Zhang Ma to open a company, so Zhang Ma can help with many subsequent matters, and he will not offend anyone when the contract expires. If he had to deal with these things for the first time, it would be difficult for him to do so. Can handle it so well. When I came out of the company, it was already late. It was around 5 o'clock. In the deep winter of Beijing, it was already getting dark at around 5 o'clock. Likewise, the temperature had also dropped dramatically. Before leaving Shanghai this morning, I thought of Huiyan. I have seen the temperature, it can drop to as low as -10 degrees at night. Freeze someone to death. The capital is such a poor place. It is located in the north. It is extremely hot in the summer and freezing in the winter. It only benefits from the glory of the capital. Otherwise, it is doubtful whether this poor climate can develop. After leaving the company, Gu Huiyan felt like returning home. He had a lovely wife waiting for him at home. But when I rubbed my hands and got into the car, holding a thermos cup to drink water, I didn't rush to ask the driver to drive back to the apartment. Instead, I planned to go to Niaoja first. Before going out, Gu Huiyan said to Pei Jingshu, "I'll bring you something delicious when I come back." It sounded like a joke, but a big man can't keep his words, so he must buy some food. It is said that people in the old Beijing eat this and eat that, but for the vast majority of outsiders, to be honest, there is really nothing delicious in Beijing. You can know it if you browse the comment section of the Beijing travel food check-in video. There's nothing wrong with roasting duck, shabu shabu, braised pork, etc., but when you say how delicious the fried noodles are, that's sheer fart. The taste of old Beijing people is not something that most people can understand, especially for bean juice. I really don't know how they manage to keep it down. Maybe it's because those who like it, but those who don't like it have to take a sip. Gradually, bean juice has become a kind of thing for young people to check in. Gu Huiyan actually didn't plan to buy anything fancy when he went to Niaoja. He just planned to buy some steamed rice cakes and sesame paste sesame cakes. After staying in the capital for a few years, he has eaten basically everything he should eat. Gu Huiyan thinks that the most unique thing is actually the sesame sauce pancake. It is not big, about the size of a palm, and is about the same size as the doornail meatloaf. The sesame sauce taste is very strong, very fragrant and quite delicious. Zeng cake is actually not a specialty here. It originated from other places, but there are relatively few of them. Gu Huiyan thinks Pei Jingshu would like to eat it. Thick layers of jujube paste and glutinous rice are mixed together, making it soft and glutinous. The taste is very good. Even the window of Te Niang did not give Gu Huiyan a spoon or chopsticks. Just a package. Gu Huiyan wanted to ask him, "Why do you want me to be good at eating?" Before leaving, I bought some beef and mutton slices. It's winter, so I can cook the meat at home. After shopping, he got in the car, but he didn't know why Gu Huiyan always felt that there was something wrong with it. He thought about it for a while before he figured it out. Go to the west. He showed the driver the way to the west. At that time, the assistant next to him was still surprised. "What are you going for?" "Buy a bouquet of flowers," Gu Huiyan said. Assistant. Good guy, she shouldn't have opened her mouth like this. MD was fed a mouthful of dog food. After buying a bouquet of jasmine flowers at the flower shop, Gu Huiyan got into the car and went home with satisfaction. He didn't know much about flowers, but he always heard people describe Pei Jingshu as a pure jasmine flower, so he thought it would be better to give her jasmine. I'm getting fat. Gu Huiyan was a little surprised when he got home, because he smelled the aroma of vegetables as soon as he entered the door. Good evening. Pei Jingshu was still wearing the pure white clothes she wore during the day, but the sleeves of her upper shirt were rolled up, revealing her smooth wrists. She also wore a gray apron and held a spatula in her hand, as if she was cooking. What are you doing? Gu Huiyan put down the things he bought and went to the kitchen to take a look. Finish cooking for the migrant workers. Pei Jingshu picked up a thick glove and put it on her hands, went to the oven, and opened the oven door. There was roast beef inside, wrapped in tinfoil. When she opened the tinfoil, the aroma rushed out. It looked so tempting. Gu Huiyan was a little touched by this scene. Ever since he left home many years ago, he had never experienced the feeling of someone cooking for him at home. It was quite warm to be like this. Gu Huiyan gave it to Pei Jingshu, and also gave her the food he bought, especially the steamed cake, which was still warm. Gu Huiyan asked her to taste it first. She said that they would eat it together at dinner later. She always eats the gluttonous habit of not eating in advance. Gu Huiyan refused and insisted that she take a bite first. He also said that eating in the kitchen and eating on the table were two different feelings. Pei Jingshu was successfully brainwashed, so she took a strange taste. Her mouth was really small, and she opened a cherry mouth. She let Gu Huiyan pass a chopstick full of jujube mud steamer cake into it, and she sipped it. After finishing the meal, he nodded and said, "Tasty. I also bought the sesame sauce pancakes, which I highly recommend." Gu Huiyan also said. As a result, Pei Jingshu flipped her hair and said with a helpless smile, "Do you know I've gained a few pounds recently?" In recent days, Pei Jingshu gained several pounds because she lived with Gu Huiyan, had 3 meals a day, and didn't work much. Almost all the pounds that I lost due to the breakup have gained back, and I'm even wealthy. In the past, she almost never touched any carbohydrates, but Gu Huiyan was a lover of carbohydrates. When she was with him, she would consume more carbohydrates and lose weight. You'd better not say this out loud, as it could easily get beaten to death. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently. Although Pei Jingshu's figure was not skinny, she was still very thin. If she were fat, she would be easily beaten to death. Pook. Pei Jingshu was amused, but couldn't help but say, "But I'm a star." She didn't want to remind Gu Huiyan of this, but she was indeed in this line of work and had to make a living from it. "It's okay." Gu Huiyan waved his hands and said calmly, "Just exercise after eating." What he meant by exercise was actually that he could take a walk downstairs after dinner in the evening. Of course, the weather in Beijing is cold and there's no point in wandering around. It would be nice to just drive out and go shopping in the mall. But it was obvious that Pei Jingshu misunderstood what he said. After hearing this, Pei Jingshu's pretty face quickly turned rosy. She glared at Gu Huiyan and said, "Can you please stop talking nonsense while chatting?" Ah. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and couldn't help but feel happy after he realized it. He explained that I meant going out for a walk after dinner or something. After hearing this, Pei Jingshu, who realized that she had thought wrongly, felt a little embarrassed and felt ashamed for a moment. She turned sideways silently and said, It's not all your fault. Why do you blame me?" Gu Huiyan shrugged boredly, pretending not to understand, and asked, "No, what do you think it is?" "I. What do you think?" You ask knowingly." "I really don't know. Why did I ask so clearly?" "Don't, stop talking." Ha ha. The two of them were laughing and joking in the kitchen, and the atmosphere was really good. The dinner was also very warm. Pei Jingshu has a face that does not touch Yang Chun Shui, but her skills are good and she is good at some delicate dishes. She cooks them beautifully and has all the colors, flavors and aromas. Unlike Gu Huiyan, he was mostly good at some unappealing but delicious stews. Gu Huiyan's house is not big, but the temperature feels higher than that of Pei Jingshu's house. It may be because the heating in the north is more powerful, or it may also be because the area is smaller. Sometimes there is no need for two people to live in a large place because it is too spacious. After dinner, Gu Huiyan threw the plates into the dishwasher, wiped the table a little, swept the floor, and then cleaned up. Speaking of the dishwasher, Gu Huiyan also found it funny. When he was at Pei Jingshu's house, he even forgot that she had a dishwasher a few days ago. The two of them washed the dishes several times with their hands. Gu Huiyan didn't find it and didn't know where it was. He thought she didn't use the kitchen and didn't have a dishwasher at home. But Pei Jingshu simply didn't do it and forgot about it. Pei Ya only reminded them when she saw it later. Hiccup. People say. What are you thinking about when you are full and warm? After dinner, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu sat on the sofa, talking about watching a popular movie that had just come out of the theater. As popular celebrities, they rarely go out in public places, let alone movie theaters. People would recognize them even if they took Pei Jingshu out for a few steps, so sometimes they had to wait to watch the movie on the platform. It is worth mentioning that this movie is a police film starring actor Su. Su, nicknamed Walking Hormone, plays a villain who likes to play with butterfly knives. During the movie's release, he gained many fans. It's also very popular recently. Gu Huiyan met Su Yuntang once this year when he was hospitalized due to a car accident, but not at all other times. However, the two of them occasionally contacted each other, sending blessings on New Year's and holidays, etc. Su Yuntang even helped his friends get tickets for Gu Huiyan's concert. He doesn't really like to join in the fun, but it's normal to help his friends. I heard that he is also at the Spring Festival Gala this year, so I should see him at the party tomorrow. Can you please stop touching me? He said he was watching a movie, the lights were turned off and the atmosphere was quite good, and the movie was going on slowly. However, Gu Huiyan, an old master, was not honest at all. He touched everywhere, which made Pei Jingshu laugh a little. Do I have it? Gu Huiyan asked. Don't you? Pei Jingshu almost rolled her eyes. Aha, okay, I have it, I have it. Gu Huiyan admitted it generously without saying a word, and naturally hugged Pei Jingshu and kissed her. It won't be very deep, just a little taste, because the deeper part is at the back. Don't look at it. It's not interesting. We can do some exercise. Even Gu Huiyan, the popular movie of the best actor Su, is not interested at all, because for him, Pei Jingshu will make him more interested. Didn't you say sport because I thought wrongly? Then what do you think it is now? Pei Jingshu's lower lip was slightly pursed. The lights were turned off in the room, leaving only the light of the TV. It looked dim and had shadows, which would make Pei Jingshu's pretty face even more charming and meaningful. She could feel Gu Huiyan's breathing becoming heavier, which made her a little shy and her pretty face flushed. Well. Gu Huiyan kissed her without hesitation, pressing Pei Jingshu on the sofa. No. The movie of the best actor Su was also playing on the TV. The character he played was a decent man, but his wife and child were killed by a bomb, and he completely embarked on the path of villain. In the movie, the best actor Su portrays the character so well that you can even see his face trembling, but, to be honest, having that familiar face next to him always made Gu Huiyan a little awkward, as if someone was watching them kissing here. Closed. Gu Huiyan rolled his eyes, found the remote control and turned off the TV. The TV was turned off, but there was no light in the room. Gu Huiyan thought about turning on the light first. As a result, just when he was about to stand up, Pei Jingshu raised her two jade hands and hooked them around his neck, and whispered. Don't turn on the light. She was not used to turning on the lights. She was ashamed to turn on the lights when she was in Shanghai last night, especially the way Gu Huiyan looked at her. Okay, I'll do whatever you want. Gu Huiyan will definitely not refute, just turn off the lights, it will make you feel better. Well. At this moment, Pei Jingshu was looking forward to the arrival of her relatives, so that she could rest for a few days. The next day. It was pretty early, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu got up and cleaned up. Gu Huiyan was still young, and he was full of energy all morning, with no signs of being squeezed dry at all. Pei Jingshu, on the other hand, still didn't want to get up and still had no strength. Fortunately, she slept for a while yesterday afternoon. Otherwise, if she didn't sleep well last night, it would be a problem to participate in the group rehearsal today. Don't you know how to exercise some restraint? When Pei Jingshu came to pick her up in the morning to do her makeup, Pei Ya saw her looking like that again and couldn't help but want to scold Gu Huiyan. So why are you still like this when you have work today? Elder sister. Pei Jingshu was thin-skinned and shy, and didn't want her sister to talk. She wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl in after just saying this. It seems that it will be necessary for you to live separately from each other for a while. Pei Ya held her forehead silently, still feeling sorry for her sister. She was already thin, what if she wanted that guy to fall apart? It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu not only did not refute this point, but said it was necessary. Gu Huiyan must have rolled his eyes after hearing this, indicating that the cow is not tired yet. After breakfast, they changed into more festive clothes and set off to participate in the platoon. When we arrived at the place, there was a lot of people at the backstage entrance of the main stage. Because we knew that today was the Spring Festival Gala, many celebrities and artists would be present, so there were also many passers-by and fans who came to watch. It is worth mentioning that when Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu arrived, they happened to bump into the best actor Su Yuntang. Hey, long time no see. The actor Su Man was very polite and came over to say hello, but what made him a little strange was that both Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were a little, avoiding him. What the hell? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 368. Gu Huiyan. Ah. Sister Pei. This way, this way. There are a lot of people at the backstage entrance of the main stage. Not only are there a lot of people, but there are also a lot of cars. Basically every artist who comes to participate in the lineup is brought to the door by car. Fortunately, there were security personnel controlling the flow of people, otherwise Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu might not be able to get in. Hello, hello, hello. When Gu Huiyan got out of the car, there was a burst of cheers. It is worth mentioning that just now this group of people were crowding in front of a little fresh car on the other side. But when they heard that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's car was coming, they all gathered around come over here. As a result, there was no one in front of Xiaoxian Ro's car next door. When the brother got out of the car, he looked confused. He was a little doubtful about life and wanted to think that he didn't go out with a face today. Otherwise, why was there no one? Recognize him. When he saw it was Gu Huiyan, he suddenly realized why. What's funny is that instead of being angry or jealous, this brother even waved hello to Gu Huiyan from a distance. Young artists these days are really more qualified, polite and well-behaved than the last. Occasionally, Gu Huiyan can't even pretend to be a slap in the face, and it's quite a headache. Come. The assistant got out of the car to help stop people. After Gu Huiyan got out of the car and looked at the situation, he stretched out his hand to Pei Jingshu in the car. As soon as Pei Jingshu came out, those people at the scene shouted. Today, Pei Jingshu wore a long white patterned dress. Because it was just a rehearsal, She wore it simply, pure white flat shoes, and a light green long down jacket. It was just a simple daily wear. Despite this, her unparalleled temperament cannot be hidden at all, even if she wears a mask. Her white skin and eyes that are as if they were carved by God, immediately captured the souls of onlookers. Sometimes, Gu Huiyan also envies Pei Jingshu. She really doesn't have to do anything, just put her face in front of passers-by and she can be watched and cheered. What a blessed person. Thanks. Hello. Pei Jingshu was still very polite to fans and passers-by, waving to them softly. Ah. When looking at Pei Jingshu, the fans she greeted almost fainted from shouting. Gu Huiyan must be used to it, otherwise he would probably be frightened when he saw the scene for the first time. Seeing that Pei Jingshu's popularity made him look like an irrelevant person, Gu Huiyan silently raised his forehead and had no choice but to find his own sense of presence. Okay, please give way. Thank you, please give me a break. Sorry, we have to go in and can't sign, thank you. At this moment, Gu Huiyan didn't look like the king of music who was shining on the stage. Instead, he looked more like a bodyguard. In other words, he was deliberately playing the role of a bodyguard. He was walking in front of Pei Jingshu, supporting Pei with one hand. Jingshu's shoulder, the other hand is blocking the crowd. Puff. Ha ha ha. This immediately made people around me laugh, and someone shouted, "You're such an idiot." As soon as the words fell. Ah ha ha ha. The laughter at the scene was even deeper. Pook. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but laugh out loud. Gu Huiyan must have been serious about embarrassing people, but once she said it, she did feel a kind of honor. Let's just say who has the celebrity status to allow the music king Gu Huiyan to be her bodyguard. It's just her Pei Jingshu. Many viewers took photos and videos with their mobile phones while laughing, and they probably will post them online later. By the way, the arrival of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu is actually not complete. In the middle, several groups of artists have come before, including first-tier, big-name, and top-notch artists. The audience is also quite enthusiastic, but they basically will not affect the ones in front. The path of an artist. Only Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu arrived, which attracted onlookers and could hardly walk. It's enough to imagine how popular the two are now. And as soon as they thought that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu would attend this year's Spring Festival Gala, the audience's enthusiasm for watching the Spring Festival Gala was aroused. It is worth mentioning that as soon as Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu entered, they saw an acquaintance from a distance. Su Yuntang. When winter comes, the actor nicknamed Walking Hormone always wears a black turtleneck shirt, a gray suit jacket, a thick down jacket, and a combed hairstyle. He is meticulous and looks like a refined and charming image. Hey, long time no see. Best Actor Su's movie was released on the National Day schedule and did very well at the box office, so his traffic has been very good recently. Of course, he is not short of this traffic. In recent years, he has been in a semi-retired state, and he will film whenever he has a movie. If there is no drama, take a rest, drink tea, and ride horses. Very carefree. Ah, brother, it's been long time no see. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and greeted the actor Su, but the boy's expression looked a little strange. Su Yuntang frowned, thinking that he had accidentally offended Gu Huiyan. What was going on with this kid? Thinking back carefully, during Gu Huiyan's breakup incident, although he didn't start with a helping hand, he didn't add insult to injury, and he almost never said any bad words, right? That kind of thing is his own emotional problem, and Su Yuntang himself can't get involved. How come, I haven't seen you for half a year, are you unfamiliar? Su Yuntang originally thought Gu Huiyan was strange, but after taking a look at Pei Jingshu, he found that Pei Jingshu was also avoiding his eyes, and just nodded politely and said hello. What's going on with you guys? Su Yuntang was stunned. He wanted to think that he could still offend these two people. What the hell? No. Nothing, cough, let's go in. Gu Huiyan hugged Pei Jingshu, pointed inside, and tried his best to find topics to talk to Su Yuntang, such as how are you doing recently, are you busy, are you tired, are you filming any new movies? There was a movie on National Day, didn't you know? Su Yuntang felt despised for a time. His movies were quite popular. Gu Huiyan asked him if he had any new works. Wouldn't this be embarrassing? Ah, the movie, I watched it, of course I watched it, brother, can I not support this? When Gu Huiyan said this, Su Yuntang was slightly pleased and relieved. When he turned to look at Gu Huiyan, his eyes dodged, and then he pulled him to talk about other topics, not talking about the new movie at all. Su Yuntang was a little angry. The fear of being dominated by Gu Huiyan once again enveloped his heart, and he almost fell out with Gu Huiyan. Pook. Pei Jingshu snickered from the sidelines. She certainly knew why both of them looked wrong when they saw Su Yuntang today. She also knew why Gu Huiyan didn't want to talk about Su Yuntang's movies. Just for that reason, neither of them could tell anyone else. Could it be that they were watching Su Yuntang's movie when they were kissing on the sofa? It would be weird if I didn't feel ashamed to say it. They just chatted awkwardly all the way into the backstage. Fortunately, other acquaintances came to say hello, otherwise Gu Huiyan wouldn't know how to deal with Su Yuntang. Speaking of which, this was Gu Huiyan's first time coming to the main station to participate in the Spring Festival Gala. There were so many people present, even Gu Huiyan could count them on both hands, and they were basically all well-known entertainers. Of course, Gu Huiyan is definitely considered a household name now, and his reputation, celebrity status, etc. are no less than those of many people present. Even though it was his first time here, he still received a lot of respect. Not only the staff, but also many big-name artists, seniors, etc. would come over to say hello. Gu Huiyan is quite polite, he greets everyone politely. Because the actor Su is by his side, and in terms of qualifications, the actor Su is really considered an old-timer in the industry, so occasionally he would help introduce people whom Gu Huiyan didn't know who came over to say hello. He was really nice, but the more he behaved like this, the more apologetic Gu Huiyan looked at him. This left Su Yuntang confused. He asked Gu Huiyan several times, but Gu Huiyan didn't say anything. Pei Jingshu stayed with Gu Huiyan at first, but then she couldn't hold it any longer, and some friends called her, so she said hello to Gu Huiyan and Su Yuntang, and they became friends when they went aside. Gu Huiyan actually knew a lot of people at the scene. He met Chen Feng and Wang Lei, but what made him a little confused was that MD Shen Qingqing was also there. Brother Huiyan. After a long time, Gu Huiyan was frightened when he called him Brother Huiyan in a whisper, and hugged him with both hands without hesitation. Gu Huiyan was startled, but because of his quick reaction, he immediately bent down and ducked away. Otherwise, people will really look at me strangely. Why are you here? Gu Huiyan couldn't help but ask. For a moment, Gu Huiyan suspected that he was in the wrong place. Is this the backstage of the Spring Festival Gala at the main station? How come Shen Qingqing is qualified to come? Why can't I be here? Today's little clip Shen Qingqing is wearing a green and pink skirt. Her pair of slender long legs look very delicate under the bare leg artifact. The special girl really doesn't dare to compliment she is too thin and too short, this is a flaw. Wrong. Why is it not right? Gu Huiyan discovered with a confused look that when he subconsciously glanced at Shen Qingqing's chest, he realized that it was no longer the pair of A's. It was a series of mountains, connected by mountains and rivers. How come you are so fat? It was obviously a malnourished airport before, but now people are neither fat nor tall, so why the hell are they still? Are tall buildings rising from the ground? How much padding is this? Or are you going to have surgery? I'm really willing to spend a lot of money. Who are you looking down on? She stood in front of Gu Huiyan with her hands on Liu's waist, pouting angrily, which reminded Gu Huiyan of someone. Shang Zuoyan. In fact, Shen Qingqing is somewhat similar to Shang Zuoyan to a certain extent, especially in terms of personality. They are both very lively and cheerful. However, she is more teasing, and there is a huge difference between her and Shang Zuoyan in terms of hardware facilities. Don't. There's no comparison. Gu Huiyan briefly chatted with her for a while, without any physical contact of course, not even a hug. Gu Huiyan had to avoid suspicion, not to mention that Pei Jingshu was not far away, even if she wasn't there. Gu Huiyan was quite puzzled as to how this little clip was qualified to come here. He happened to have other friends around him. After asking around for a while, he found out that Sister Qing is now not what she used to be. In the second half of the year, when Gu Huiyan was deeply involved in the breakup controversy, Shen Qingqing, a young man, successfully became popular all over the internet with a comic-adapted ancient puppet show. With the characteristics of the characters in the play and the promotion of CP with the male protagonist, now she has been extremely popular for half a year. I even have endorsements from several high-end luxury brands. Very exaggerated. Because of the traffic and popularity, the company found several online singers in the second half of the year to create a few saliva songs for her. One of them was particularly suitable for her singing voice, and it became a hit. How popular is the song? Just say it. Before the release of the 5 new songs from Gu Huiyan's concert, this song had been occupying the top of the new song charts on various platforms. Of course, as soon as Gu Huiyan's 5 new songs were released, she was immediately ranked on every chart on every platform. I remember that there were people saying that when Gu Huiyan was not at home, Shen Qingqing was the king. It was so shameful that a sensational song like this could occupy the top spot in the Chinese music scene these days. It was at that time that because of her salivating songs, there were also some sounds of looking forward to returning home safely. It's probably because that song is very popular and everyone knows it. In addition, she herself is also famous and her celebrity status has risen, so she is naturally qualified to come here to participate in the Spring Festival Gala. Of course, the program for the Spring Festival Gala was all set in the first half of the year, so she shouldn't be included. But she was so lucky that something went wrong with the female lead in a sketch. She was temporarily replaced by an old actress who performed in the sketch. The senior was a veteran in her hit drama, and he was in the same company as her, so he naturally recommended her. Time is also destiny. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, never expecting that Shen Qingqing could become popular. Thinking of this, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think that if Shang Zuoyan was here and knew that she was famous, he could even come to the Spring Festival Gala. He would probably have to curse. God is blind. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but smile when he thought of this. Speaking of it, he really hadn't thought of Shang Zuoyan for a long time. The weather has been cold recently. I heard that the temperature in Bangsa country is even colder than in the capital. Gu Huiyan, who was in the capital, wished she could go out wrapped in a quilt. She didn't know if it was cold over there. It was at this time that there was a loud noise from the door, which seemed like an uproar. When everyone heard the news and looked over, they saw Xilan wearing a pink and white coat, taking off her mask. While walking in. That coat seems to be a popular item in her brand, with a price of more than 10,000 yuan. It is said that at the end of this year, nearly 10,000 pieces of this coat were put on the shelves and all were sold out. It is indeed quite good looking, and the pattern really highlights the proportions. Xilan is not tall, about 1.65 meters tall. But wearing this dress, he looks like he is over 1.7 meters tall. Hey, Siren. Haven't seen you for a long time. People around her went over to say hello. Xilan was very popular in the industry. No matter where she went, many people said hello to her. The mature royal sister Xylin has big waves. Today she is wearing a pair of rimless eyes. With full makeup and these glasses, she is really completely equipped. Let's kill it. I'll go over there for a moment. The actor Su was originally with Gu Huiyan and others. The first time he saw Xylin, he said hello and came over. Even the whole world can't save his deep affection. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, and then took 2 quick steps to disappear into the crowd. It wasn't that he didn't want to say hello to Sister Xylin, but it was mainly because there were so many people. If Sister Xylin came to his place, she would be easily watched. It's okay to be watched by fans and passers-by, and it's okay to be watched by colleagues, but there are many seniors at the scene, and Gu Huiyan can't stand it if they all look over. What's more, the actor Su Gang went over to say hello, and he felt sorry for Su Yuntang today. Gu Huiyan didn't want to hurt him anymore. Originally, he wanted to find Pei Jingshu, but he couldn't find anyone for a long time. The backstage is not big, and there is no rest room prepared. The front desk is not used to you being a big name or not. You have to talk to the backstage when you come. Stand and wait. Of course, there will be seats available when you enter later, but not now. Haven't seen you for a long time. Here, the actor Su has already met Xylin. This year Xylin and Su Yuntang don't have much time to meet each other. On the one hand, Xylin is working on her own brand this year and is quite busy at work. She often goes abroad to participate in some fashion exhibitions and occasionally holds her own exhibitions. She spends all her time in China. Not much, let alone meeting. On the other hand, Su Yuntang is also busy filming this year. Although he is now semi-retired, occasionally there will be some challenging roles that give him enthusiasm to work hard. Because of their busy schedule and because Xylin avoided Su Yuntang before, the two rarely met this year. Just a few months ago, when Xylin held an exhibition in Shanghai, Su Yuntang went to visit the exhibition, and it was still on the hot search list at that time. Actor Su's deep affection is actually known to everyone. Even now, he is still alone. Everyone knows that he is still waiting for Xylin. In terms of face, Xylin will never lose sight, so she will hug, say hello, and chat with Su Yuntang. They have been old friends for many years. Even if they cannot become lovers, they will still be more familiar with the people around them. What made Su Yuntang a little sad was that after Xylin hugged him and said hello, she glanced in the direction behind him. Just now, Gu Huiyan was standing there. At that time, Xylin's phoenix eyes happened to catch a glimpse of Gu Huiyan walking into the crowd. She frowned involuntarily, then quickly relaxed and went back to dealing with the people around her. But even if he frowned for a few seconds, he was still noticed by the actor Su Quan. At that moment, Su Yuntang's heart, which was already broken like glass, was crushed again and again by the rolling pin. Although Gu Huiyan had already disappeared into the crowd, thinking he could avoid Xylin, before entering the venue, a familiar voice still sounded in his ears. Avoiding me? Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 369. Sister 11, Sister Xylin. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and said with a smile. How come? Why should I avoid you? Xylin smiled non-committally. In terms of temperament, Xylin was definitely the most stunning among all the female celebrities Gu Huiyan had ever seen. Today's rehearsal scene can be called a gathering of stars, but no matter what you look at, senior artist or junior artist, which one can compare with Siren? Standing next to Gu Huiyan like this, Xylin will inevitably attract some attention. Gu Huiyan looked a little helpless, feeling that there were some things that he couldn't avoid. How are you lately? Xylin and Gu Huiyan chatted with smiles, like old friends they hadn't seen for a long time. In fact, their relationship should be like this. Gu Huiyan answered casually. If he said he was not doing well now, someone would probably beat him up. If nothing else, he would be exposed by the paparazzi on a hot search. Everyone on the internet knew that he and Pei Jingshu were having a rough time recently. Not bad, can this be said to be bad? Xylin smiled and talked about Gu Huiyan's first Spring Festival Gala. She was also curious about what works Gu Huiyan was going to perform. The music king Gu Huiyan, who is famous for his music, must be on a singing program, and she must be curious about what song to sing. There is nothing to keep secret from Xylin and Gu Huiyan, but it is hard to say who signed the confidentiality agreement. This made Xylin roll her eyes at him, and said in a somewhat reproachful tone, "Little white-eyed wolf." She knew whether she was good to Gu Huiyan or not, and Gu Huiyan must have known it too. She was by Gu Huiyan's side during the car accident, and she was also there during the concert. When it came to companionship, no one stayed with Gu Huiyan longer than she did. This guy is so good. Now he wants to hide from her when he sees her? I didn't, Gu Huiyan had no choice but to tell her that it was a song with a relatively main theme. Ahem. It is worth mentioning that while chatting, Gu Huiyan noticed something was wrong with Xilin's voice and occasionally coughed, so he couldn't help but ask. Do you have a cold? Xylin took a tissue from the assistant, wiped her nose, and said. It's too cold in Beijing. I was in Yunnan some time ago. I might not be able to bear the sudden change. Beijing, which is located in the north, has a cold winter. As the new year is approaching, it has snowed a few days ago. When the snow melts, the temperature drops sharply. The temperature at night is more than 10 degrees below zero. It is not an exaggeration. Although you don't have to wear short sleeves in winter in Yunnan, it doesn't get below zero anyway. It's quite normal for your body to be unbearable this time. I also had a cold some time ago. Gu Huiyan asked with concern. Had medicine? Have. Xylin nodded and was about to jokingly ask Gu Huiyan if he cared about her. Celine. The voice of the actor Su suddenly reached their ears, and they saw Su Yuntang walking over from a distance holding a white thermos cup. When he came closer, he opened the thermos cup and poured out a cup of red water that looked like ginger syrup. Same liquid. Said. I just asked my assistant to go out and make a cup of ginger syrup to warm myself up. The weather is cold in winter. Not long ago, the best actor Su was filming in the northeast. The coldest place there is 20 to 30 degrees below zero, which is even worse than Beijing. It's the farthest north. So the assistant will help Su Yuntang prepare some ginger, brown sugar and the like to warm his body, and he will take some with him before finishing the drink. Anyway, this thing is to support people, and he still buys sucrose, as long as he doesn't drink too much sugar. No problem. When they met just now, he could tell that Xylin was suffering from cold. Although he didn't ask explicitly, after they separated, he silently ran outside and called his assistant to help him make a drink and bring it over. Oh, thank you. Xylin did not answer in a hurry, but thanked her first. Faced with Su Yuntang's kindness, she felt a little embarrassed for a moment. Actor Su Ziyi was more considerate and said with a smile. Don't worry, this cup is the same one you used last time. No one has used it in the meantime, so just use it without worry. After saying this, he also made a joke and said. Why, are you still afraid that I'll poison you? How come? Xylin shook her head, stopped squirming, took the sugar water and took a sip. Not to mention, the warm brown sugar ginger water does make my whole body feel warm when I take it into my mouth. Gu Huiyan stood aside and watched. Sometimes Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think that the actor Su Zhen was actually quite suitable for Xylin. He was really a warm and considerate man who had everything ready, just like a universal toolbox. Unlike Gu Huiyan, there is nothing. Seeing Xylin drinking the ginger syrup he brought, Su Yuntang was quite proud. The smile on his face was so full that he couldn't hide it no matter what. But who knows? Just the next moment, Xylan suddenly asked Gu Huiyan. Want a drink? It's quite warm. The backstage of the main station is actually not too cold. In winter, indoors in Beijing are rarely without heating. There are so many people here, and the heat of people will also increase the temperature. But in the coldest month of winter, who can resist a cup of warm brown sugar ginger water? Ah! Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment after hearing this, and looked at Xylan strangely. Then he couldn't help but look at Su Yuntang again. As expected, the smile on Su Yuntang's face froze for a moment. Although it soon relaxed, it still felt a little different from before. The moment his smile froze, Gu Huiyan seemed to hear the sound of his heart breaking into pieces. Looking at Su Yuntang with distressed eyes, Gu Huiyan silently held his forehead and waved. No, I'm fine. Xylan refused. There happened to be a drinking fountain nearby with disposable cups, so she brought two and gave them to Su Yuntang and Gu Huiyan respectively, and then gave them 2 cups of ginger syrup. Everyone, drink together. Is this okay, Sister Xylan? After drinking the ginger syrup, the actor Su went to put down the cup. Gu Huiyan couldn't help but ask Xylan helplessly. Xylan glanced at him. Looking at her sister's pretty face head-on would always give people a sense of pressure. She helplessly brushed her hair, spread her hands and said, "Then what can I do?" To be honest, she has been unable to deal with Su Yuntang in recent years. She has expressed to Su Yuntang many times overtly and secretly that it is impossible for the two of them. She even refused in public when filming Crystal Love Season. But even though he failed every time, Su Yuntang still persevered. Su Yuntang can take the cup she used with her, which is so thoughtful. It is really rare to have such a man in the entertainment industry. Thinking of this, Xylan couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, "Maybe if I find a boyfriend or get married, he will give up." Based on Su Yuntang's character, she believed that if she had a boyfriend or got married, he would definitely choose not to bother her anymore. There is no doubt about this. And when she said this, she glanced at Gu Huiyan subconsciously, which frightened Gu Huiyan so much. Cough. He immediately coughed slightly and turned his head to pretend to drink water, not daring to look at Xylan. Xylan chuckled, shook her head, and couldn't help but spat again. Little White-Eyed Wolf. This title was always a little awkward and helpless for Gu Huiyan. After thinking about it, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but ask, "Why can't you consider him?" Although from a man's point of view, Gu Huiyan didn't want Xylan to have an affair with any man, which she did, but Gu Huiyan couldn't be selfish and delay Xylan. To be honest, he knew what Xylan meant to him, but he could only give it to Pei Jingshu. After hurting Shang Zuoyan like this and leaving her in a foreign country, how could he delay Xylan again? After hearing this, Xylan was stunned for a moment, then turned to look at Gu Huiyan in surprise. To be honest, she felt that Gu Huiyan had grown a lot in the past 6 months. In the past, this kid would not dare to say such things to his sister. Siren was silent for a moment. At this time, many artists had already entered the venue to rehearse, and many people's attention was attracted there. Gu Huiyan and Xylan were relatively late in the queue, and their friends had already said hello, so they didn't attract much attention anymore. Like this, they were leaning against the wall, just like the young woman Yao had on her son's birthday, chatting quietly. In no mood. Quite suddenly, Xylan suddenly said this. Huh, Gu Huiyan thought he heard wrongly. When he looked over, he saw Xylan gently flipping her hair, pursed her lips, smiled, and said in a very relaxed tone, "I just don't want to. As a human being, I always want to be with the person I like, not the one who is suitable for me. On this point, I am still very willful." Xylan has said it many times before considering Su Yuntang's reasons. She also knows that Gu Huiyan must understand, so she doesn't want to explain anymore, she just wants to express her willfulness. She has always given everyone the impression of being a mature big sister, but how could there not be a soft and fragile area in a sister's heart? Who wouldn't be willful at all? Gu Huiyan did not continue to argue. When he mentioned the word willful, he would always think of Shang Zuoyan involuntarily. In Gu Huiyan's world, there is no one more willful than Shang Zuoyan. His willfulness ruins his feelings and career. Xylan always understands Gu Huiyan very well. Gu Huiyan doesn't know why. For example, when he mentioned willful at this time, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but think of Shang Zuoyan. Xylan then said, "Do you know who I met when I went abroad for an event a few days ago?" "Who?" Gu Huiyan looked over strangely. "Shang Zuoyan." Xylan said the name easily. Unsurprisingly, when she heard the name, Gu Huiyan was stunned for a moment, and her eyes were in a trance for a moment. Gu Huiyan didn't answer, maybe because he didn't know how to ask. The most considerate thing about Siren is that she knows what you want to ask and answers you without you having to ask. She says. She is living a good life. She seems to have a strong foundation there and a fan base. The domestic events have not affected her popularity overseas. And she is said to be forming a new group to perform in Europe and the United States after the year. Yet. Hearing this, Gu Huiyan felt a little relieved. Now he recalled that Xylan had said before that she would tell him if she saw Shang Zuoyan. In fact, Gu Huiyan would feel better if Shang Zuoyan lived well. He always hoped that Shang Zuoyan would live well, and a girl as uniquely blessed as she should indeed live a good life. In another place, she should shine. You're doing well too. Xylan smiled and patted Gu Huiyan's shoulder. She wanted to chat a few more words, but a staff member came over and called her to go to rehearsal. Then let's see you later, she waved to Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan said subconsciously. Why don't we have dinner together after it's over? Xylan thought for a while and shook her head. Please treat me to dinner alone someday when you are free. Didn't Gu Huiyan come with Pei Jingshu today? All right. Gu Huiyan smiled helplessly and watched Xylan follow the staff into the backstage. Sister Xylan, she is really a pretty good woman. The rehearsal ended not too early, because the program was in the middle and late stages, and Gu Huiyan had two performances, one solo and one duet with Pei Jingshu. Plus, it was his first time here and he was not very familiar with it. It took a lot of time. When they came out, many people had already left. Gu Huiyan didn't see Xylan, but he did see the Best Actor Su. This year's Best Actor Su performed a sketch, and based on his national reputation, he was expected to be a hit as soon as he appeared. It is worth mentioning that the actor Su and several colleagues made a plan. This Chinese New Year, it was easy to get together in the capital. It was not unusual for everyone to eat and drink together. Some of them knew Gu Huiyan, and some didn't. Su Yuntang deliberately introduced Gu Huiyan to them. Although Gu Huiyan focused his work in the Beijing area, he really didn't have any connections. He couldn't find one even if he went to a popular restaurant to eat. Relationship, so getting to know each other can also be convenient. Then we had a meal together. However, Pei Jingshu did not participate. She always didn't like to attend such dinner parties. Usually, Pei Ya helped to deal with it. Even if Gu Huiyan went, she didn't really want to go, and Gu Huiyan was never willing to force her. Drink less, you hear me? Pei Jingshu frowned and told Gu Huiyan. Of course, she knew very well that her words would have no effect at all. Gu Huiyan could drink too much when she was around, let alone when she was not around. I know, I know. Gu Huiyan said he knew that when he came back that night, he was carried back by several assistants. Pei Jingshu silently held her forehead. This time, she ignored Gu Huiyan and was not by his side. This elder brother just drank and became confused. In the end, Pei Jingshu had to take care of him. By the way, Pei Jingshu was used to it now. Although Gu Huiyan often drank too much, not only did he not act drunkenly, nor did he suffer from vomiting and diarrhea, but he looked quite high, as if he had taken stimulants. Hold her and kiss her. Sometimes she would be unhappy. The strange thing is that at this time, Gu Huiyan, who seemed to have drunk too much, would immediately lie down and pretend to be dead, pretending to be confused. Are you really drunk or are you pretending? Pei Jingshu was made to laugh and cry, and she felt that Gu Huiyan was deliberately acting like a hooligan under the influence of drunkenness. She wanted to say, if you don't drink too much, I won't let you touch her. Man is really a strange animal. It was probably because Gu Huiyan drank too much that night, so he fell asleep and did nothing. And that same night, news about Gu Huiyan became a hot search topic. Hashtag Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu participated in the Spring Festival Gala. Hashtag. The fact that the two of them attended the Spring Festival Gala had actually been kept secret before. After all, there was a confidentiality contract. But wasn't it photographed today? It's the end of the year, so there's no need to keep it secret. This thing is actually just a formality. As soon as the news came out, netizens immediately became excited. There's so much joy in the comment area. Gu Huiyan is going? Zundu is fake. Nonsense, it must be Zundu, it was all photographed. If you want to do this, then I won't be able to watch the Spring Festival Gala this year. Ha ha ha, I want to say it too. So you didn't watch the Spring Festival Gala in previous years, ha ha ha. There's nothing to see. I make dumplings and smash them every year. You and I are really. Haha, it was said that last year there was a program about making dumplings and smashing it, but netizens guessed it and cancelled it temporarily. I want to watch the Spring Festival Gala this year because of Gu Huiyan. Sigh, when will Gu Huiyan show up? Brothers let me go. I'd better go next door to watch the Crosstalk Spring Festival Gala. Maybe it's because the dumpling making and smashing thing is really a bit too much, and it's a bit of a headache for netizens, so today's young audiences are rarely willing to go to the Spring Festival Gala. Of course, a big part of the reason is that there are no good programs now. It's the same thing every year, nothing new. In the past, everyone was happy to watch sketches, but then the sketches were all bad, and gradually they just enjoyed watching them. Some peaking opera, dance, and other arts. Similarly, it may be because domestic entertainment in recent years is full of garbage and fresh meat. There are no new faces to look forward to in the Spring Festival Gala, so I don't like to watch normal. And this year, because of Gu Huiyan, many people are really looking forward to the Spring Festival Gala. After all, Gu Huiyan's performances have almost never disappointed any audience, and as a man who is at the center of this year's public opinion topics, whenever the Spring Festival Gala is discussed this year, people are basically saying that Gu Huiyan should go. Now, it can be regarded as returning to everyone's expectations. Also because of Gu Huiyan's participation in the Spring Festival Gala, comments about Gu Huiyan's participation in the Spring Festival Gala were everywhere in the year-end discussions. Some people are curious about what song Gu Huiyan will sing, and which of his works is suitable for such a big stage. But after watching it for a long time, it seems that none of the previous works are suitable. After all, most of Gu Huiyan's works are about romance, and being on such a formal stage is not really suitable for romance. Oh, of course some people will say, didn't Pei Jingshu sing Together No Matter How Far Away last year? There are differences between male and female singers. How many male singers have you seen singing love songs in the Spring Festival Gala? Furthermore, even if it is a female singer, Pei Jingshu is the only exception. This makes people wonder how Gu Huiyan selected the music. At this time, an insider revealed that Gu Huiyan would sing a new song with a more main theme, which immediately ignited everyone's enthusiasm for discussion. Not only that, there are also people saying that Gu Huiyan will perform a male and female duet with Pei Jingshu. Because of these two gimmicks, in the past few days as the new year approaches, almost all the internet is talking about them. Time passed quietly in this discussion. In a blink of an eye, the day of the Spring Festival Gala came. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 370. The day of the Spring Festival Gala performance. Live broadcast. Countdown to about 5 minutes. Hey, it's finally started. After saying hello, Gu Huiyan returned to his seat and held his forehead silently. Today he was wearing a festive red suit with a black shirt and black pants. He looked slim inside and festive outside, which was quite suitable for today. For late occasions. Many male celebrities dress like this, but the suit styles are different. It's the Spring Festival Gala after all. Pei Jingshu gently pulled back her short hair and whispered. Yes. It's the Spring Festival Gala after all. During this period of time, Gu Huiyan participated in a total of 5 platoons, and every time everyone showed up collectively. Then there are all the first-line, top-notch, and big-name artists out there. They all have to be on time and attend the event obediently. No one is missing. Drink some water. Pei Jingshu took the thermos cup from the assistant and poured Gu Huiyan a glass of warm water. She started recording shortly. Not to mention drinking water, she had to put away her phone and hand it to the assistant. This is a program that people all over the country will watch on TV, so you can't make any mistakes. Gu Huiyan took a sip from the water glass, took out his cell phone from his pocket, and replied to a few messages. Isn't it the new year? There are a lot of things for people. There are all kinds of gatherings and blessings everywhere. Gu Huiyan has attended several gatherings of old friends recently. He hasn't even returned to his hometown yet. There are not only various reunions of classmates there. There are still a few young people who are getting married. So recently Gu Huiyan can't even reply to messages. Of course, what Gu Huiyan was mainly returning to at this moment was news about no one else but his brother Gu Zun. Didn't he know that his brother was going to attend the Spring Festival Gala this year? This young man who had never seen the world asked Gu Huiyan to take some live photos or record a video for him. Gu Huiyan said, "Can't you see it when you watch the live broadcast? So, is there any difference between recording a video and watching a live broadcast?" Gu Zun said that the perspective is different, and even if you don't take the scene, you still have to take group photos with your sister-in-law, right? Gu Huiyan was really stunned when he mentioned the photograph thing. It seems that he and Pei Jingshu have taken many photos together for such a long time. Although that face has the ability to crush a female star, Pei Jingshu is not the kind of girl who likes to take pictures. As for Gu Huiyan, why should a man take pictures if he has nothing to do? Usually when I see beautiful scenery, for example, when it snowed a few days ago, I take pictures outside the window, and basically don't take pictures of anything else. Because of this, it seems that there really aren't many good photos of the two of them together. Let's take a photo. Gu Huiyan thought for a while, then took his mobile phone and approached Pei Jingshu. Pei Jingshu was quite new when she heard this, so she couldn't help but pursed her lips and smiled slightly, her red lips parted slightly. Okay. With that said, she approached Gu Huiyan. Can't you come closer? I won't eat you. Gu Huiyan held his forehead in silence. Sometimes he felt helpless towards Pei Jingshu's sense of distance and shyness. She was really not the kind of girl who was very clingy. Even if she was taking a group photo, she wouldn't stick to her directly. Pei Jingshu's pretty face blushed slightly, she glanced at Gu Huiyan, and then moved slightly closer to Gu Huiyan. Well, just a little bit. Gu Huiyan couldn't stand it anymore, so he reached out and hugged Pei Jingshu's shoulders. Tonight, Pei Jingshu was wearing a pure white evening dress with a tube top because she had to perform, with her shoulders almost completely exposed. Don't, someone is watching. Although the live broadcast hadn't started yet, there were staff calibrating equipment everywhere, and everyone was talking about their own affairs and no one paid attention to others. However, it was such a formal occasion, and Pei Jingshu suddenly became shy. "What are you afraid of?" Gu Huiyan shrugged and said. "Who doesn't know about our relationship?" Pei Jingshu couldn't help but refute these words. Indeed, no one would object even if they saw the two of them getting intimate here, because everyone knew their relationship. Pei Ban takes care of CP from beginning to end. It's a big hit. Come on. Seeing that Pei Jingshu was silent and just blushing, Gu Huiyan smiled and took a photo with his mobile phone. Click, click, click. Although it was a death shot from a straight man's perspective, the phone was held high enough, and the two people's looks were good enough, so the photos taken were really pretty. "You are so photogenic." Gu Huiyan looked at a few photos and couldn't help but sigh. Pei Jingshu's face really seemed to be born for the camera. It was so shocking to see it normally. The camera made it look inexplicably cinematic. "Thank you. I appreciate the compliment." Pei Jingshu chuckled lightly, but there was no trace of pride on her face. She seemed to be used to other people's compliments. "Do you mind posting a Weibo?" The more he looked at those photos, the more satisfied he became, and Gu Huiyan planned to post a message. "Certainly." Pei Jingshu nodded, thought for a while and then said. "Send me the photos too." "Okay." Gu Huiyan nodded and took advantage of this little time to send them to Pei Jingshu. At that time, Gu Huiyan thought that Pei Jingshu just wanted to take a look at these photos as a souvenir or something. Who knew? Just a few minutes later, after he edited a post and posted it, Pei Jingshu followed up by posting one. Gu Huiyan's caption was very simple: "Happy New Year," while Pei Jingshu captioned, "May all go well with you." Although it is just a simple blessing, these two sentences seem to echo each other. At this moment, many netizens were waiting for the Spring Festival Gala to start, and they went crazy when they saw the two people's dynamic. "Good guys, you two are so free. You still want to take a group photo to show your affection. Ciao, you are going to let your labor and management eat dog food during the Chinese New Year. That's enough for you two. Why don't you prepare for the performance and post a selfie here? Aw. Can you two stop trying to tease me? You're both hooked. I have never been so looking forward to the Spring Festival Gala." The news between the two before the broadcast quickly became a hot topic. It's funny to say that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu are about to take on the popularity of this year's Spring Festival Gala. According to statistics, nearly half of the young people watching the Spring Festival Gala tonight are Ben. Came with them both. Of course, this is also indispensable for the recent marketing. What Gu Huiyan found funny was that when they participated in the second and third rehearsals, the chief director of the scene met with them and secretly hinted that they could be more high profile. To put it bluntly, let them carry the heat. But then again, the expectations are high, so many people are staring at them. If the performance tonight is not good, if the crotch is stretched, it will be really embarrassing. Amid such anticipation, the Spring Festival Gala officially started at around 8 o'clock. Entering the official recording, Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu and everyone around them immediately got into the mood. The assistant took away their mobile phones and other things. When facing every camera position, you can see their starry stars. State. As soon as the live broadcast started, excited netizens rushed in instantly, and barrages flew up. It started. I just came from Weibo. I'm reporting someone who just posted a photo showing their affection without doing their job. I second the proposal. Report with real name. There are many brothers who make memes. Gu Huiyan is very glad that the popularity of the eating noodles meme has passed. It would be really embarrassing if someone made fun of the eating noodles meme in the Spring Festival Gala live broadcast room. If the fans of Gu Huiyan's family call him eyebags, then there is really nothing wrong with him. What's funny is that before Gu Huiyan had time to say that the fans were showing off their eyes, this eye-catching boss was already humiliating himself in his first performance. This is what happened. Gu Huiyan had an opening performance where the stars sang together. There were 4 people in that performance, and it was Gu Huiyan's first public appearance. The other 3 artists were a little smaller than Gu Huiyan, standing next to each other, and Gu Huiyan stood in the C position. Then the funny thing happened, that is, during the festive performance, when the 4 people sang the song, Gu Huiyan didn't know what he didn't understand, and it seemed that he was suffering from the social bullshit syndrome. The whole person looked so happy. He was full of excitement, clapping his hands and stamping his feet, waving to the audience next to him. She was so excited that she even shouted, "Friend on the left. Puff. Ha 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 ha." Those who watch TV may be better off, but those who are older and don't know Gu Huiyan just think that this young man is so lively. Among the young people, especially the netizens watching the show in the live broadcast room at that time, Gu Huiyan almost laughed. "Barrage blast. No, bro, what are you doing? Then it's the Spring Festival Gala, not your offline performance. Look at those 3 people next to me, how grand they are. Look at you. Why the hell do you act like a lucky spectator selected by the Spring Festival Gala? You have ADHD, please stop moving your feet, it's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed that I'm so embarrassed. I feel embarrassed to say that I'm the Gu Huiyan family's cheating when I go out." Even though the barrages were flowing wildly, and even though it was a live broadcast, it was a pity that Gu Huiyan couldn't see a single bit of the audience's comments. He was singing so excitedly, and he was followed by shaking his legs and twirling around, with more interesting expressions and full of emotion. Expressions are more powerful than singing. Everyone laughed like crazy, and some even commented, "No, your Spring Festival Gala was too kind to him. You should teach him the rules." Although everyone knows about Gu Huiyan's eye-catching bag attribute, and the words eye-catching bag have been used hundreds of thousands of times in the comment area at this time, but who dares to think that he can be so embarrassed that he can be embarrassed until the Spring Festival Gala? Go up. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the system points are at 91x666. When Gu Huiyan was performing, he received a wave of large-scale system critical attacks. At that time, Gu Huiyan was so confused that he thought it was because his performance style was so popular among the audience. Then he went even crazier. Even when I was dancing with the dance teacher from behind, I followed him and twisted twice. In other words, this is the Spring Festival Gala, otherwise look at how wonderful Pei Jingshu's expression would be if the camera were to show her. Ahaha. The people under the stage are said to be the audience, but in fact they are mostly performers and seniors who have contributed to the country. The scene is actually quite solemn, which in itself will make many guests uncomfortable. But Gu Huiyan is like a different kind of person and doesn't care at all. He will get high on this festive day first. However, the seniors didn't pay attention. Instead, they thought this young man was very lively and interesting. It's just that some of the staff backstage wanted to scold me, because the lip-syncing of the Spring Festival Gala was all pre-recorded, so it was inevitable to make mistakes and be rigorous. When Gu Huiyan was recording, his voice was very quiet. Now he was jumping up and down so happily and it was completely inconsistent with his voice. And I don't know if he himself feels that this voice cannot keep up with his current state, so his expression is always intoxicated when singing. It seems like I want to use my expression to keep up with my state. Fortunately, the audience knows that the Spring Festival Gala is strictly recorded in advance without opening the mic to lip sync, otherwise it would be a huge embarrassment. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing so hard. At that time, both the audience and fans laughed like crazy. In just 3 to 5 minutes of performance, Gu Huiyan successfully made everyone remember him. Some people were curious. I don't know what Sister Pei's expression is. Just curious, Pei Jingxi should be watching Gu Huiyan's performance in the audience right now. What should Pei Jingxi's expression be like when she sees such embarrassing Gu Huiyan? Then a funny scene came, that is, when the host came to the scene later, the camera happened to show Pei Jingxi's side face again. Pei Jingxu, who was wearing a white evening dress and a red festive coat, was holding her forehead silently, making a shameless expression, lowering her head and not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Ah ha ha ha. Even this little scene was successfully discovered by netizens. Many people even took screenshots, saved them, and made them into emoticons. Someone said, "Sister Pei, don't say I know him, I don't know him." Sister Pei feels so embarrassed. Yes. Let's just say that Pei Jingxu and Gu Huiyan have known each other for so long, and she has never expressed her disdain for Gu Huiyan in front of the audience, and she feels it is embarrassing. The label of husband sings, wife follows has been with her for a long time. She also followed Gu Huiyan when he ate steamed buns. But today, even she, Pei Jingxu, felt that Gu Huiyan was embarrassed. It's enough to imagine how embarrassing Gu Huiyan was tonight. Take off your powder. The comment area is full of comments. It's so embarrassing, I lost my fandom. I will no longer be embarrassed to say that I am a fan of Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan, the first collapse artist in history whose fans collectively lost their fans because he was too embarrassing. Ah ha 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 ha. Who would have thought that a celebrity artist could have his house collapse just because he was embarrassed? So funny. But then again, although Gu Huiyan's opening performance was embarrassing, it also made everyone remember him. It's a C position, and it's so eye-catching that it's hard not to remember it. This caused many netizens to have no memory of the following performances. After 3 or 4 performances, people were still discussing how embarrassing Gu Huiyan was. Even just a few minutes later, Gu Huiyan was trending on Douyin, Weibo, and other platforms. Do you know what the hot search topic is called? I can laugh to death just seeing you. Hashtag Gu Huiyan is embarrassed until the Spring Festival evening. Hashtag. Even Gu Ma and Gu Zun, who were watching the Spring Festival gala at home, had a sense of déjà vu when they saw that scene. Absolutely awesome. Of course, there are other topics, such as Hashtag Gu Huiyan is acting like I was when I attended the Spring Festival gala for the first time. Hashtag Gu Huiyan acted like an ordinary person was chosen as the lucky audience of the Spring Festival gala. Hashtag MacArthur, his performance is more interesting than the sketch. Hashtag. Although everyone was laughing at Gu Huiyan for being disgraced and embarrassed until the Spring Festival gala, some people said that Gu Huiyan should be like this during the Spring Festival gala. This year's Spring Festival gala is too rigid. Everything is decided in advance. Because it is rigorous and because no mistakes are allowed, whether it is a sketch performance or a singing performance, it must be planned in advance so that people can do what they want at that time. Like a machine, no mistakes can be made. This is true in itself, but it just lacks a little human touch. Do you think the singer's lip-syncing on stage can be the same as his real singing? You said that everyone follows the predetermined way, is it any different from a robot performing? Before the Spring Festival gala, many famous scenes were improvised. It is precisely because of improvisation that famous scenes are achieved. Many people think that the current skits and other programs are not interesting. The reason is actually that they gradually stop making mistakes. Already, people all make mistakes, because mistakes make us more human. The Spring Festival gala should have more of a human touch, rather than being robotic. Gu Huiyan may indeed be suffering from the social badass, but equally, his appearance and liveliness should be the spirit that should be conveyed to everyone on this festive day. So when people talk about losing fans, everyone is joking. Not only will Gu Huiyan not lose fans this time, he will even become more popular among passers-by. Some netizens commented like this. My grandma just watched Gu Laoliu's performance and asked me who this person is and wants to give him a reward, haha. Gu Huiyan was very high, so he brought joy to many people. Maybe everyone was joking that Gu Huiyan was embarrassed at the Spring Festival Gala, but at the same time, they were also made happy by his liveliness and activity. Everyone loves to see jokes. One very funny thing is that the next few performances continued, with sketches, singing, and dancing. The atmosphere of singing and dancing was quite good. But until Gu Huiyan's second performance was about to take place, no one had been discussed more than Gu Huiyan. You said it was his own enthusiasm. No, this wave is really not the case. Even if Gu Huiyan is not as popular as the king himself, it would be the same for another star as high as he is. Someone said. Gu Huiyan's appearance is what we want to see in the Spring Festival Gala. And amidst such laughter and discussion, let's invite singer Gu Huiyan to bring Young China. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 371. Pa Bang Bang. The solemn Spring Festival Gala live broadcast venue, a festive stage, there are probably fewer ghosts and wolf howls, but the applause will never stop. As the new king of the music scene, the king of singing songs, and the king of topic discussions in recent years, Gu Huiyan, who attended the Spring Festival Gala for the first time, always had a lot of expectations. Not only the netizens in the live broadcast room are full of expectations, but many viewers at the scene, including colleagues, are also looking forward to his performance. Although the song Young China brought by Gu Huiyan is just based on the title of the song, it is like the main melody, which is not what he is good at, and it is also the most popular type of guava love song. But who told him to be Gu Huiyan? The name Gu Huiyan has become a vivid golden sign in today's Chinese music scene. Of all the works he has produced so far, there is not one that is not good to listen to, and not one that is not remarkable. Therefore, at the moment when Gu Huiyan appeared, according to statistics, the national ratings of the Spring Festival Gala were soaring. I'm coming. Aha, I'm so sleepy just waiting for Gu Huiyan to perform. Hurry up and sing. After singing, I can go to bed. Anyway, there is nothing to watch later. Come on. Come on. At this moment, the live broadcast room was filled with barrages. Gu Huiyan appeared late. Many people really stayed up late just to wait for him to appear, otherwise they would have fallen asleep early. No star can match Gu Huiyan's status in the hearts of young people. Even though they often scold Gu Huiyan is still YYDS. Just in this expectation. The camera turns to the stage and the performance officially begins. The wisdom of youth brings wisdom to the country. The richness of young people will make the country rich. Strong young people make the country strong. Freedom for youth means freedom for the country. What was a bit surprising was that the first person to appear was not Gu Huiyan, but a group of children in school uniforms and red scarves, who looked like primary school students. There are boys and girls, and there are quite a lot of people, evenly arranged on the stage. The bright red school uniforms and the childish expressions on their faces are always very touching. Of course, it's not just their expressions that are immature, but also their voices. A group of primary school students who have not yet entered the period of voice changing in adolescence. Their voices are very thin, but they seem to have infinite possibilities and endless changes. Oh! The style of the song is eye-catching. No one expected that it would start with a monologue recited by teenagers. And at this moment, Gu Huiyan slowly walked out from the stage entrance. Tonight, Gu Huiyan wore a black lining and a red suit jacket. He was dressed up in a rare and exquisite way. He was dressed quite festively. He looked good, and it really suited the style. Walking in the middle of a group of young pioneers, he still looked like the social bastard he had just been. He waved to the camera, greeted the audience, and even touched the heads of a few nearby children. Hey, you're so. Many fans who are watching the show can't stand it anymore. I want to tell you, please restrain yourself and stop being so embarrassing. In fact, I really don't blame Gu Huiyan for this. It was mainly because many netizens on the hot search felt that his down-to-earth attitude contributed to the system points. Gu Huiyan felt that everyone liked him like this, and the live broadcast assistant couldn't remind him. He watched again. If you don't use barrages and don't think there's anything wrong with what you do, what else can you do? No, I can't stand it anymore. Many fans joked that they wanted to get out of the trap and stop watching. But at this moment, Gu Huiyan took the microphone and spoke up. The red sun rises, and its path shines brightly. The river flows out and flows into the ocean. The hidden dragon soars into the abyss, its scales fly. The tiger roars in the valley, and all the beasts are in panic. The loud and clear timbre and voice that uniquely belonged to Gu Huiyan conquered everyone instantly as soon as he came out. Oh! At that time, some people couldn't help but get goosebumps. One person said that Gu Huiyan's voice and singing skills, looking at the entire domestic entertainment industry, there is really no second choice. Although he sang in a low tone and did not have an exaggerated high note, the lyrics gave people a very domineering feeling. Gu Huiyan, who stood in the center of the Spring Festival gala stage facing the national audience, also calmed the place very well. He is definitely not alone tonight. There are many children around him and many audiences in front of him. It is also a festive New Year's Eve, lively and happy, and the picture is very warm and cozy. And on this festive day, what Gu Huiyan sang was a song about youth. After a short period of preparation, when the backup dance teachers came on stage to replace the children, Gu Huiyan walked and sang. Youth-free teenage madness. The body is like mountains and rivers and the spine is straight. Dare to measure the sun and moon again. I am the only young man today. Dare to test your edge against heaven and earth. Who can stop me from overcoming all obstacles? The world laughs at me, I am self-improvement. Live up to your youth. A coherent and high-pitched chorus burst was sung from beginning to end by Gu Huiyan in his most domineering voice. During this period, the scales climbed continuously up and down the key, but Gu Huiyan almost did not turn a falsetto throughout the whole process, and it was all sung with the true voice. Many professional singers felt pain in the back of their heads, but he only sang like a few veins on his neck. Gilu. Pei Jingshu in the audience swallowed. The lighting and dance at the scene were all coordinated, with red and gold colors, perfectly creating the feeling of the rising sun. Oh! All the viewers watching the live broadcast, including the live audience, couldn't help but get goosebumps from Gu Huiyan's performance. Pa bang bang. The audience at the scene gave him a burst of fierce applause as soon as his chorus came to an end. I have to say that Gu Huiyan sang this part so domineeringly, he really conveyed the youthful vigor and fearlessness of time and wind to the fullest. If I could use one word to describe it, it would be, bright and sharp. In the entire domestic entertainment industry, it seems that only Gu Huiyan's voice can interpret this song so vividly. Someone in the comment area said, "My brother and I are really two people when we usually sing. You can see that this is singing your own song. How serious it is. Unlike just now, tisk tisk tisk. You can say that he is a show-off, you can despise him for being embarrassing, but you can never say that he has no strength. Some people say that my brother is a disgrace, some say that my brother has no qualities, some even say that he is ugly, but no one has ever said that he has no strength. Everyone's evaluation of Gu Huiyan is very fair. One thing to say is that although Gu Huiyan's social twitch syndrome seems to be welded to his body tonight, you really can't take it off when he sings. Compare him with that dazzling Gu Huiyan. He is so professional. His voice is so powerful. That kind of penetrating power, even if this is the live broadcast of CCTV Spring Festival Gala, most intuitively stimulates everyone who hears this song Young China. And that kind of national pride also filled everyone's heart at this moment. If everyone were to give Gu Huiyan an evaluation tonight, then they would probably be the same as the 5-star critic MacArthur, which is live up to expectations. Tonight, Gu Huiyan was burdened with a lot of expectations, and some even said that he was responsible for half of the popularity of this year's Spring Festival Gala. And the more this happens, the higher everyone's expectations for him will be. If he doesn't sing well, it's really easy to cause problems. Before the performance, some people said that Gu Huiyan sang a song with a main melody, which was not suitable for his type and was prone to overturning. Watch it now. Is this called a rollover? You call this a problem? What a joke. Gu Huiyan is famous for his all-around. Regardless of guava love songs or main themes, there is nothing he is not good at. Therefore, tonight, even though everyone's expectations for Gu Huiyan were extremely high, Gu Huiyan's performance still greatly exceeded their expectations. It's also because of this song Young Chinese Story that there are fewer voices that despise Gu Huiyan for being disgraceful, and there are also fewer voices that are off fans. Instead, there are a group of anti-bone guys who like to stab in the back. They say Gu Huiyan is embarrassing, but I have never felt this way. He has always been my beloved relative, friend, and brother. That's not what you said just now. Good guy, rebel. The mouths of netizens are such liars. It was amid such rave reviews that Gu Huiyan's performance came to a successful conclusion. It has to be said that Gu Huiyan is definitely the biggest winner of this year's Spring Festival Gala. Social awesomeness has been a hot topic, and Young Chinese Story has become extremely popular. In terms of reputation, works, etc., he is a sure winner. Of course, Gu Huiyan will not only have this piece tonight. It is worth mentioning that after Gu Huiyan's performance, the ratings of the Spring Festival Gala dropped. There is nothing we can do about it. People of a certain age come to watch the Spring Festival Gala. Many young people really come to watch their favorite celebrities. Like the celebrity performance is over, why not take a break? This situation continued until Pei Jingshu's appearance. Tonight, Pei Jingshu, like Gu Huiyan, has a solo song and a duet with Gu Huiyan. The name of the personal track is Wishful. It is a new song and a song with a relatively main theme. It is worth mentioning. At that time, the subtitle title of the Spring Festival Gala live broadcast had the following words. Wishful. Lyrics written by Gu Huiyan. Composer, Gu Huiyan. Arranged by Gu Huiyan. That's right, it's another song written by Gu Huiyan to Pei Jingshu. At that time, many viewers' eyes lit up when they saw the title. When Pei Jingshu appeared, many people must have spontaneously come to watch. Once they saw Pei Jingshu singing a song written by Gu Huiyan, they would definitely be even more excited. Tonight, Pei Jingshu is wearing a white tube top dress. Her skin is really white, but it is not sickly. It is probably because she has been very comfortable and moisturized recently. You can see that both my skin condition and my mental state are very good. The pure white dress perfectly complements her temperament, and the red hairpin and today's lipstick complement this festive day. Her delicate and pretty face always has a beauty that has no blind spots no matter where she looks. Not to mention the female stars who have appeared before, even some hosts who are famous for their temperament have been crushed in terms of beauty. He was completely different from the time before we broke up. There are still people using the live barrage. As expected, they can only be good to each other if they are together. When they broke up, they were both in average condition, which was heartbreaking, but look at it now, one is a social bastard and the other is outstanding in appearance and appearance. They too deserve to be together. More than a month has passed, and Pei Jingshu's hair has grown longer. When it is gathered up, it is no longer just a small geogeo, but has the beginning of a ponytail. It would be a joke to say that her facial features are very grand, but they are really very delicate. After the makeup is refined, she really looks like an elf. On her body, she has the delicate and slender temperament of a Jiangnan woman. That very unique Oriental woman's delicate beauty is vividly displayed on Pei Jingshu's body. She is cold, but not ice cold. She appears on the stage under a blue-white light. There are dancers performing stage plays on the right side of the stage. She on the left, following the melody and story tune, sings. You are the light on the distant road and in the fog in the mountains. I am a child, walking in your eyes. You are the bright moon and the breeze, and I am the one who cares for your dreams. Whether I see you or not, I will embrace you for the rest of my life. Pei Jingshu's voice is very ethereal. This song Wishful is strictly a song with the main melody. The audience has the impression that the voice of this style of song should be very grand, similar to the type of bel canto tenor and tenor. It's not appropriate for Pei Jingshu, who sings pop music, to sing the main melody with such a voice. But I don't know why, listening to Pei Jingshu singing this song As You Wish actually gives people a feeling. The innocent feeling of a little girl growing up under a red flag. Maybe it's the different angle, but it's refreshing. Indeed, what we are used to hearing are grand and powerful styles, but the emotion expressed in main melody songs should never be defined. It should be diverse and anyone can sing it. Pei Jingshu's singing of this song seems to have broadened the aesthetic boundaries of the main melody song. And I will love the world you love. May you have the smile you wish for. I am holding your hand hobblingly, please take me to tomorrow. If you have ever cried about my sweetness, I am willing to live your wish. It's not in vain, I'm willing to go for it bravely. Every day in this prosperous age. Some people always say that Pei Jingshu can only sing small love songs such as Little Lucky and Together no matter how far away. Some people even said that she was not worthy of the title of Singer of the Times because of this. They also said that she relied on it. Gu Huiyan. However, Pei Jingshu today vividly slapped these people in the face during her performance of As You Wish. She can sing, and she can sing well. She clearly understands where the song Ruishi should be sung lazily and where it should be powerful. During the chorus stage, whether it was her expression or her voice, she perfectly interpreted the emotion she expressed to her ancestors. She is obviously a young girl who is not too old, but she sang to some senior audience members who made her eyes filled with tears. Pa bang bang. When she finished singing the first chorus, there was a lot of applause. If people have emotional intelligence and singing intelligence when singing, then Gu Huiyan thought that without the support of the system in this regard, he would probably not be able to compare with Pei Jingshu. She is truly a gifted person. The mountains and rivers are fine, and the fireworks are normal. But you got the view you wished for. Children, sleep peacefully. Like you love so much. And I will dream of the reunion you dreamed of, may you wish. Matching the singing, there are also the lyrics of As You Wish. The lyrics of this song are really wonderful. The tone of speaking to the ancestors and the feeling of singing a small love into a big love always deeply affects everyone. People. It's probably because the song is so good and Pei Jingshu's performance was so amazing. Not even 10 minutes after she finished singing, there were related hot searches on several social platforms next door. Hashtag Pei Jingshu's wish. Hashtag. Some people say that this is another golden song written by Gu Huiyan for Pei Jingshu after meeting. This is true, because this song is far from being comparable to ordinary songs in terms of meaning, connotation, and lyrics. Maybe it's because his previous works have always been in the guava love song genre. Some people say that Gu Huiyan can't write a song with the main melody. This type of work is indeed too demanding in terms of creation and is not something that ordinary people can easily try. But tonight, Gu Huiyan wrote a song Young Chinese Story for himself and a song As You Wish for Pei Jingshu, and both his singing and Pei Jingshu's performance firmly captured everyone's attention. The hearts and eyeballs of an audience completely conquered everyone. He used a very modern way and a very tricky angle to interpret his main theme without making anyone feel inconsistent or pretentious. Especially Gu Huiyan, who sang the chorus of Young Chinese Story, made people think of him when he sang Reverse War. The song Reverse War is rarely sung by Gu Huiyan these days, but it is still the favorite of children and the most popular song in his concerts. And everyone has every reason to believe that this song Young China will definitely be the most popular song on his tour next year. That is really a work that can ignite the national pride of every young person. Of course, the prerequisite is that you can sing. Generally, many of the copyrights of songs sung in the Spring Festival Gala are bought, and if they are used for commercial performances, they may not necessarily have copyrights. So there are people jokingly saying under related hot searches, "Cherish it, this may be the only time Gu Huiyan sings Young China live. Other times, you can only listen to it on music software." Ahaha. Tonight, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu lived up to anyone's expectations and successfully shouldered the popularity of the Spring Festival Gala. But the performance that the audience is most looking forward to is actually the song at the end, sung by Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 372. Following Gu Huiyan's Young China and Pei Jingshu's As You Wish, the song the two will sing together is called Because of Love. The subtitles are introduced like this. Because of Love. Lyrics written by Gu Huiyan. Composer, Gu Huiyan. Arranged by Gu Huiyan. Singing, Gu Huiyan, Pei Jingshu. Looking at Gu Huiyan's name in a row is always quite shocking, but it seems that both the audience and fans have long been accustomed to his all-powerful nature, so they are not surprised. The title of the song makes people feel comfortable, even though it is very simple, and even as Gu Huiyan mentioned it to Pei Jingshu, it is somewhat vulgar. However, many things are a return to nature. For example, Kamen Rider knows that no matter how many forms the main rider uses, no matter how awesome the fancy forms are, if he uses a circle of forms in the end, he will basically use the original form in the final battle. Well, that's pretty much the same feeling. Therefore, many people always maintain the most basic expectations for Gu Huiyan's song Because of Love. Speaking of this song, Pei Jingshu couldn't laugh or cry. When Gu Huiyan told her that the Spring Festival Gala wanted them to sing a song together, Gu Huiyan casually said that they should write a song because of love. At that time, Pei Jingshu thought he was joking. How could anyone choose a song title so casually? Never thought that he was really so casual. You could say that the title of his song is casual. His whole song is sung around this title, and it shows his seriousness in every aspect, not casual at all. Therefore, sometimes Pei Jingshu also admires Gu Huiyan. It is worth mentioning that before the performance, Pei Jingshu went backstage to change her clothes. She was wearing a white dress, but before singing this song, she changed into a red dress. The corset style perfectly accentuated her slender waist and perfectly highlighted her oriental feminine temperament. In comparison, Gu Huiyan seems a bit casual. And their performance was just like that. When it came to the song the two of them sang together, according to statistics, the peak ratings of the night came quietly. The comment area of the live broadcast room is buzzing with comments. I'm so exhausted that I have to stay up late during the Chinese New Year. Is it easy just for the two of them? Who wouldn't? When I saw the program list, I knew I wouldn't get enough sleep tonight. No, who's nice enough to go to bed before 10 o'clock on New Year's Eve? I'm still playing mahjong here. I'm playing cards. The labor and management are swimming. Did I say anything about labor and management's outdoor winter swimming? Compared to that, right? Let's go swimming in the winter in Harbin, which is dozens of degrees below zero. 6. The Shiur crowd was very reluctant, but the studio at the Spring Festival Gala live broadcast was quite quiet. After Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's performance numbers were announced by the host, the lights gradually dimmed, creating a sense of atmosphere. When the camera zoomed in, Gu Huiyan's figure appeared in the center of the stage. At this moment, Gu Huiyan took off the festive red suit jacket he had worn before, and was wearing black trousers and a shirt. It is worth mentioning that he tucked the hem of the shirt into his trousers, and also tied a pair wearing a pure black tie. The cuffs and collar were not open, which made him look very formal and businesslike. Of course, it's also very neat. On the dark stage, there was only a spotlight on him, which made him feel quite impressive. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan didn't look like he was suffering from the social bullshit syndrome like in the previous two games. All the restlessness seemed to have left him at this moment. He seemed very calm, able to sink into the atmosphere of the scene. To be honest, if Gu Huiyan was as excited as before and shouted "friend" on the left, then it would be really inconsistent, right? Dong dong. The melody entered the main song node, and Gu Huiyan sang softly under the guitar melody. Give you a CD from the past. Listen to our love back then. Sometimes I suddenly forget. I'm still in love with you. Oh. Pa bang bang. All I can say is that he is indeed Gu Huiyan. The moment he opened his mouth, many in the audience couldn't help but raise their hands and applauding and cheering. This is Gu Huiyan's first time attending the Spring Festival Gala this year. Basically, the audience here is not ordinary people. For such a new face, even if Gu Huiyan is famous, they may not be very supportive. But there is no way, who made Gu Huiyan's song Young China just so shocking. He sang the youthful vigor and sharpness vividly, and also conveyed the strong sense of national pride and the spirit of home and country to many people. In the scene just now, he has conquered everyone, and Wishful was also written by him. Who knows, everyone who realizes this, can they not support him at this moment? What's more, Gu Huiyan's singing is really solid. Ming just sang Young Chinese Story, his voice was so loud, it seemed like it could penetrate the sky. Now I'm singing Because of Love. It only has a few choruses, but it's so low and magnetic that it's very attractive. Absolutely amazing. Certainly. Even more amazing is Pei Jingshu who comes next. I can never sing a song like that again. When I hear it, I will blush and avoid it. Although I often forget. I still love you. Oh. Somehow, when Pei Jingshu raised her voice, many people subconsciously got goosebumps on their bodies. Looking back later, they will find many details from Gu Huiyan. Pei Jingshu has a very bright voice. When singing this song Because of Love, she also used weak voice, breathy voice, nasal resonance, cranial resonance, and other singing techniques. Because of this, the voice will be very loud when it comes out. Attractive. But Gu Huiyan's singing was so low that he could just be a green leaf, perfectly setting off Pei Jingshu's voice. Just like you were looking at a piece of green grass and suddenly discovered a beautiful flower, the feeling will be very different. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu was standing behind Gu Huiyan. Because the lights had just been turned off and the only spotlight was on Gu Huiyan, many people did not notice her. When she sang, the lights would also shine on her. The gorgeous dress she wore was very beautiful. With the lighting, her flawless face and slender figure were perfectly displayed in an instant. In front of all the audience. At that time, the barrage was full of comments. Wow! Many people are always impressed by Pei Jingshu's beauty. Every time she changes her clothes, she creates a trend. The words "the god of beauty comes" really seem to be tailor-made for her. Of course, there is another point that must be mentioned here, that is, Gu Huiyan was originally in good condition, but when Pei Jingshu sang, the corners of his mouth involuntarily raised, and he almost stopped talking. Ahaha. Gu Huiyan, I'm holding it in very hard. I feel like he really wants to laugh. Either he thinks it's funny, he just feels happy. AHH. I admire you so much. Singing with Pei Jingshu seems to be a very happy thing for Gu Huiyan, but the singing atmosphere of Because of Love requires a more serious atmosphere, and the Spring Festival Gala stage is more serious, so he can't laugh. It's very funny for the audience. Of course, envy is real envy. Who doesn't know about the relationship between Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, and who doesn't know that they sang on the same stage? Have many. Sweet. I just feel a little sorry for Gu Huiyan. Some people couldn't help but say, I don't know how this stage is designed. Why are they one behind the other? Can't they sing duet? At this time, someone came out to explain and said, this is the Spring Festival Gala, not their wedding. As soon as these words came out, puff. Ha ha ha. A group of people were literally laughing to their death. Yes, the Spring Festival Gala is all about performances. It would be nice to arrange the same performance for the two of them, but what about bicycles? Because of love, you will not be sad easily. Pei Jingshu started to walk and started to move forward. Wearing a red dress, she slowly walked down the steps set up on the stage. It would be an exaggeration to say that lotus flowers bloomed every step of the way, but her steps were indeed small, and even when she walked, she looked like a goddess. So everything looks happy. He probably couldn't hold back any longer. Gu Huiyan always suppressed laughter and the corners of his mouth trembled easily, making it look like he had a twitch in his mouth. He didn't want the crooked mouth Dragon King to be on the hot search tomorrow. So simply, Gu Huiyan grinned. And when he sang the lyrics, the look of happiness with a grin, it unexpectedly fit the scene quite well. Because of love, simple growth. Pei Jingshu's voice tonight is really amazing. You can feel that her voice is very delicate, like silk threads, wrapping around your heart one after another. I can still go crazy for you at any time. Gu Huiyan was still standing there, and after Pei Jingshu walked down the steps, she was slowly walking towards him. Maybe because he knew Pei Jing would come over, the smile on Gu Huiyan's face became stronger, and the lyrics he sang were indeed quite romantic, so. Although this is not a place for sugarcoating, countless netizens in the comment area are still in a mess. The banner of Pei Ban takes care of CP has been raised again. Someone said. Gu Huiyan walked towards Pei Jingshu like this before. Many people don't understand this, but most of the old fans of Pei Ban takes care of CP know it. Many people remember when Pei Jingshu invited Gu Huiyan as a guest singer during the singing session of Singer of the Times. When they sang the popular song Under the Flying Clouds together, Gu Huiyan walked towards Pei Jing from behind like this. Lady. Now, the positions of the two people may have been reversed, but they are still moving towards each other. Even though so many things happened, even though they fell into a deep whirlpool this year and almost couldn't get out, no one of them was far away from each other. As Gu Huiyan sang, I can still go crazy for you at any time. Wow! Realizing this, many viewers couldn't help but get goosebumps. This is not because I moved myself, but because this song Because of Love moved them so deeply. No one is more suitable to interpret this song Because of Love than this year's Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan. In this song, everyone can hear their attitudes towards each other. Although this song is not as ups and downs as any of Gu Huiyan's previous works, and is even a bit dull, but sometimes, isn't it true that plainness is the truth? Who stipulates that love must have its ups and downs? Perhaps for Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, who had just reunited after experiencing such a big storm this year, their love was indeed a bit too tortuous, so the artistic conception of this song became a kind of expectation for them. 1. Expectations for the future. Looking forward to the continuation of their love. This is what impresses everyone the most. Because of love, how can there be vicissitudes of life? At this time, Pei Jingshu had already walked up to Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan, who was neatly dressed in a black suit, and Pei Jingshu, who was extremely beautiful in a red dress, gave people the feeling at this moment that talented man and beautiful woman. Golden boy. It's so right. They, under the watchful eyes of the whole country, sang this song because of love. So we are still young. Gu Huiyan stopped pretending and showed his cards directly. Not only did he look at Pei Jingshu, he also held her hand. Because of love, in that place. Winter in the capital is very cold, and this is the first time Pei Jingshu has spent time with Gu Huiyan. Being held by him seems to have become a habitual action, at least Pei Jingshu is used to it. Before the performance, whether it was rehearsals, or even at home, they had rehearsed the song because of love many times. They were completely familiar with the song, so no matter what they did at this moment, they would not forget it. Mistakes like words. You can hold hands and look at each other casually. It is worth mentioning that even though they have rehearsed countless times, as far as Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan are concerned, they have never felt as good as they did today. They were all looking into each other's eyes, and their eyes were full of love. There are still people wandering around there. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu held hands and looked at each other, almost word for word. They sang those words together. People come, people go. Oh. Pa bang bang. One stage came to an end, and all kinds of shouts and applause continued. Many colleagues at the scene looked at Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan on the stage with some admiration. It is said that Gu Huiyan is the new king of the music world, and Pei Jingshu is the new little queen. They have been famous for a long time, but there are still many people who have not heard their live performances. Listening to their concerts live is clearer than watching live broadcasts on mobile phones and TV, and the shock it brings will be more intuitive. At the scene, you can clearly feel the love in their eyes when they look at each other, and you can also fully feel the compatibility of their voices and the sensory stimulation brought by the high-intensity sound pressure. At this moment, all the audience members had the same feeling. This King of Heaven and Queen deserves her reputation. Of course, the song that deserves its name is Because of Love. I feel that this song will definitely become the best song of this year's Spring Festival Gala, no, a golden song. It's funny to say that the three songs Gu Huiyan contributed to the Spring Festival Gala tonight are really better than the last. Many people originally thought that Young Chinese Story and Wishful were of high enough quality, but this song Because of Love actually subverted their perceptions again. Sure enough, Gu Huiyan always hides so deeply. Give you a CD from the past. Listen to our love at that time. Sometimes I suddenly forget. When the prosperity ends, when the singing ends, when the applause and shouts fade away. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu held hands, holding microphones, facing the camera and the national audience. They sang, I'm still in love with you. The most detailed part of a song is always the ending. When the voices of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu overlap again, the last word you really resonates in the heart. And at the end of their performance. Pa bang bang. Good. The scene was filled with applause and cheers. I have to say that Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan really conquered all the audiences with their strength tonight. The barrage is also crazy. I love this song so much. Not just me, my parents also say it's nice to be old. It's not hard to imagine that tomorrow's hot searches will be all about them. Gu Huiyan's songs often have an audience. Currently, the audience for many works is young people. There are also many fans of a certain age, but there are not as many as young people. Young love is not what many middle-aged people like. On the other hand, the three songs tonight, Young Chinese Story, As You Wish, and Because of Love, the styles of the three songs are really suitable for all age groups. There is no need to say much about the first two songs. There is no choice in terms of connotation, meaning, lyrics, melody, etc. On the contrary, it is because of love. Although this song is about love, the feeling of quietly telling love makes people feel very mature and warm. On the contrary, it can evoke the feeling of love between some parents and even grandparents. So, it is not difficult to imagine that starting tomorrow, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu will dominate the headlines on various platforms again. Of course, after tonight, their nationality will definitely improve. But to be honest, Gu Huiyan is not lacking in the aspect of nationality. After all, during Crystal Love season, he became popular by relying on his down-to-earth spirit, and he has always adopted this persona. On the other hand, Pei Jingshu will definitely benefit a lot from this. Speaking of which, Pei Jingshu is more like a winner in life than Gu Huiyan tonight. The two songs As You Wish and Because of Love simply don't make her look like a little diva. She is a proper complete hate diva who can control the scene by herself. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 373. The live broadcast lasted until midnight. Gu Huiyan hadn't recorded many programs in the past 6 months, and it was rare to record a program where he was wearing a suit and being serious until midnight, so he felt a little sleepy at the end. If this was an ordinary show, Pei Jingshu would be right next to her. Even if she wasn't lying on her girlfriend's lap, she would definitely be squinting on her shoulders for a while. But who told this to be the Spring Festival Gala? For such a formal occasion, no matter how sleepy you are, you still have to hold on tight. Of course, it's not that you're so sleepy that you can't keep your eyes open. After all, there are many shows later, with singing and dancing, and the place is lively. If you focus on watching the show, you won't actually be too sleepy. Gu Huiyan was a little sleepy at first, but then a cross-talk show came on. The two cross-talk actors are very well-known characters, but the program they performed did not look like it had been formally rehearsed. It was a bit awkward and sounded like a talk show. It is said that a skit program was prepared during this period, but it was cancelled due to some reasons, so these two were called to come up and talk for a while to save the day. It is worth mentioning that when the chubby cross-talk actor was performing on the stage, he performed a magic trick and said he could conjure a roast chicken. Not to mention, I really witnessed a miracle and turned out a whole plate of authentic roast chicken. Then, fearing that the people present would not believe it, the cross-talk actor tore up a few pieces of roast chicken and gave them to the people around him. Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu happened to be sitting in the first row, right next to the stage and the cross-talk actors who were performing. Pei Jingshu would definitely not go to pick them up, but Gu Huiyan, an old man. But that's not necessarily the case. It was already late at night, and Gu Huiyan and the others had come to prepare things very early. They would definitely have nothing to eat at night. By the middle of the night, Gu Huiyan was not only sleepy, but also very hungry. If these two comedians hadn't come on stage to cheer him up, he would have fallen asleep right now. When the energy comes, my stomach will naturally growl. Come on, let's have a taste of what's real and what's fake. When the cross-talk actor on the stage handed over the roasted chicken, Gu Huiyan rushed up to the boss and tore off a chicken leg with a grin on his face. I stuffed a sip of wine into my mouth, and my mouth was full of oil. I also ate it directly with my hands, without putting any paper on the chopsticks. Puff. Ah ha ha ha. At that time, the audience was laughing like crazy, and the barrage was furious. No, Gu Huiyan, can you please stop being so embarrassing? Can you please stop making me act like this when I am immersed in Because of Love? I'm really impressed by you, you old man. Sometimes I'm really embarrassed to say that I'm his fan. Disgraceful. Gu Huiyan must be a professional. Originally, the audience thought that there would be no more Gu Huiyan's performance after Because of Love, and this old six should be able to calm down. Many fans went to bed. Who knew that this big brother would turn around and make a shredded roast chicken to eat again? Let's just say that the cross-stock actor on stage was just joking with you and didn't let you actually eat it. Did you really bite it? Hey, you really appreciate it. The cross-stock actor on the stage was also happy. He didn't expect that Gu Huiyan would really eat the chicken. Haha. Some of the audience were amused. You said that every one of you here is a respectable person. Not many people care about roasted chicken, let alone eating roasted chicken at the Spring Festival Gala live broadcast on the main station. It's just him who cares about Huiyan, so informal. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the reward points are at 91x99. The system points are arriving, maybe because today is a show that people all over the country are watching, and the points are always hitting hard. What's even more funny is that not only did Gu Huiyan eat with his mouth full of oil, he also said inarticulately, "I'm really hungry." This big brother just started tearing chicken and his hands were stained with oil. But he is still a clean person, well, he doesn't really like clean things. He mainly rents suits, which are expensive. Therefore, he didn't dare to get close to his clothes. That action, that image. How funny. It's hard for you to imagine a handsome young man in a suit chewing on a roast chicken until his mouth is full of oil. Especially at the live performance of the Spring Festival Gala. Haha. The cross-stock actor on the stage who was complimenting me all laughed. Don't talk about him. Who wouldn't be happy if there was one at the scene? In this year's Spring Festival Gala, Gu Huiyan did not perform any comedy programs, neither sketches nor cross-talk, but he was definitely the comedian tonight, there is no doubt about it. Even the hot searches later are related to this. Pei Jingshu, who was sitting next to Gu Huiyan, also held her forehead and giggled silently. The camera did not show Pei Jingshu. At that time, some netizens said, "It's over. I guess Sister Pei doesn't want to record shows with him anymore." Ha ha ha. In laughter. This wonderful Spring Festival Gala with singing and dancing came to an end just like this. Early the next morning, not surprisingly, almost the entire internet was full of hot search topics related to Gu Huiyan. Young Chinese stories, wishful and because of love each occupied one of the top 10 hot searches, and Gu Huiyan's social awesome syndrome that night took the top spot. Similarly, after these three songs were released on various music platforms that night, they also successfully occupied the top position, especially because of love. Wow, this song really became popular. Many people viewed the video early the next day, with almost 10 comments. There are 7 or 8 pieces of BGM of this song. Last night, the scene of Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu performing Because of Love on the same stage also successfully became popular. Of course, it's not just the song that's popular in the industry, but also the 2 dresses Pei Jingshu wore that night, as well as her makeup. People say that celebrities are the ones who lead fashion trends. Pei Jingshu is the best embodiment of this saying. She always can be regarded as a trend vane no matter what she does. This is also the reason why Pei Jingshu is called the darling of the fashion industry. In comparison, Gu Huiyan does not have any popular fashion items, but the popularity of this wave of gains is really exaggerated. When people in the middle-aged and elderly groups chatted early in the new year, they could all talk about that. That lively and active boy from the Spring Festival Gala last night. How funny. The hot searches for related videos have millions of likes. In the past, when Gu Huiyan walked on the street, most of the people he recognized were his brothers. Now, when he walks on the street, he is even recognized by uncles and aunts. But this kind of thing, you say it doesn't matter if outsiders discuss it, but if people around you discuss it, then it really doesn't matter. How embarrassing. Let's not talk about anything else, let's talk about Gu Huiyan's mother and brother. Gu's mother and Guzun felt so embarrassed after watching the Spring Festival Gala last night. When they got up early this morning, they had forgotten about it and didn't take it seriously. Son. I got up early in the morning, ate dumplings, and then went back to the village to pay New Year greetings. As a result, during the New Year greetings, I overheard someone discussing Gu Huiyan's social badass last night. Yes, when they saw the mother and son, they must have given face and said that Gu Huiyan was trying his best now because he was attending the Spring Festival Gala. But when they discussed Gu Huiyan's performance at the Spring Festival Gala last night, they all laughed. This made both mother and son feel proud and a little embarrassed at the same time. If you talk about attending the Spring Festival Gala, to ordinary people, it would definitely be a glorious deed of smoke rising from ancestral graves. Mother and son are also quite proud of Gu Huiyan. But this kid happened to be so embarrassed on the Spring Festival Gala. Hot searches said that Gu Huiyan was disgraced on the Spring Festival Gala. Why do you make mother and son so proud? Mom, let's go back, I don't want to say New Year greetings. After walking a few houses, Guzun couldn't even lift his head. He put his head in the hood of his down jacket and put on a mask, looking like he was shameless to see others. Yesterday, he even posted photos of his brother and sister-in-law to show off. Who knew Gu Huiyan's performance that night was so embarrassing? Do you think your mother wants to pay New Year's greetings? Gu Ma silently held her forehead and grabbed the scarf around her neck, barely covering the lower half of her face. Shame on you. You said it was so easy to have such a well-known star in your family. Why is he so embarrassed all day long? Why don't you tell my brother not to come back? After bumping into some friends, Guzun couldn't help but raise his hand to cover his forehead and said, "It's so embarrassing." Guma rolled her eyes and said, "Your brother said he would bring your sister-in-law back with him. The implication is that if he comes back on his own, he will definitely not be allowed to come back." What's funny is that Guzun rolled his eyes and said, "How about we let my sister-in-law take care of it and don't let him come back?" Mother Gu was silent for a while, but she actually wanted to say something for her eldest son. How could she make her eldest son act like an outsider? But when I think of the humiliation I suffered from my neighbors during the New Year greetings just now, I feel a little unable to express what I want to say for my eldest son. In the end, Gu Ma silently held her forehead and said nothing. Shame on you. Ah, sneeze. At this time, Gu Huiyan was at the high-speed rail station in the capital, with Pei Jingshu, his assistant, and others, and they were able to get there with a lot of luggage. "Okay, go back quickly and help me and my family." Gu Huiyan waved goodbye to his assistants when he got off the bus. After attending the Spring Festival Gala yesterday, he had the high-speed rail ticket to take Pei Jingshu back to Quancheng today. It's the Chinese New Year, and the staff also have to take a holiday. If I go to the Spring Festival Gala with him on New Year's Eve, I won't be able to get away from it. I will definitely have a holiday after the Spring Festival Gala. After sending Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu to the high-speed train, they had to go home separately. Those who wanted to go to the airport followed Pei Yat and left early, while those who took the high-speed train took them together. Bye-bye. I will miss you, brother. It is worth mentioning that the assistants all have very good attitudes. Don't ask why. The only question is that last night Gu Huiyan handed out hundreds of thousands of New Year red envelopes. Gu Huiyan's heart aches too. Who doesn't care about money? But there is no way, you can't be too stingy with the people around you, otherwise you won't be able to retain their hearts. Don't say that people's hearts are not won by money, only the bonds maintained by money are the strongest. What's more, Gu Huiyan is indeed not short of this little money now. It's a good time to celebrate the Chinese New Year. Not only did he send out red envelopes, Pei Jingshu also sent out red envelopes. It is worth mentioning that she not only sent out red envelopes, but also gave everyone some immediate clothes, shoes, bags, and so on from the endorsed brands. Because most of her staff are girls, they are quite comfortable with these luxury goods. Pei Jingshu does not lack these luxuries. After all, new products from the brands she endorses will be sent to her every quarter. The brand ambassadors represent their faces anytime and anywhere. Speaking of which, Gu Huayan has been spending a lot of money recently as the New Year's Eve is approaching. Let's just talk about the tickets for home. You may not be able to grab the tickets for the New Year's Eve even a month in advance. So Gu Huayan bought it from scalpers. Not only his, but also his assistants, and even Pei Ya's air tickets were all bought by scalpers. It's only thanks to the scalper that he cooperated with Gu Huayan's concert and gave him a discount, otherwise the cost would be really terrible. Scalpers are something that makes people both love and hate them. Come on, drink some hot water. After getting on the high-speed rail, Gu Huayan made hot water for Pei Jingshu. He said that Pei Jingshu had not been feeling well in the past few days. It was not a cold or anything, but relatives are coming. Well, Pei Jingshu looked forward to the stars and the moon, and finally her relatives came. Gu Huayan is really energetic. During the days when they lived together, Pei Jingshu was not allowed to have a good rest at night. Pei Jingshu also had a submissive character and was not very good at rejecting Gu Huayan, which made her mental state not good for a few days. Already. These days are the long-lost rest days, and Gu Huayan will definitely not run a red light. Beijing is very close to Dequanchen. Taking the high-speed train for more than 2 hours is considered a long time. Before noon on the first day of the new year, around 11 o'clock, the two of them left the station. The temperature in Quancheng is no different from that in Beijing. It can get as cold as -10 degrees in winter. It's still warm in the car, but when I step out suddenly I'm freezing. When leaving the station, Gu Huayan specially pulled out the scarf and wrapped it around Pei Jingshu. Pei Jingshu looked really old in what she wore today, and she herself felt a little bloated. Is it appropriate for you to let me dress so bulky to see my aunt? Pei Jingshu flipped her hair helplessly and asked with a wry smile. Then you also need temperature, not just demeanor. Gu Huayan said, don't you look good in what you're wearing underneath? It's cold outside in the winter in the north and there's heating at home. You can just take it off when you get home. His considerate Pei Jingshu couldn't say anything, so she had to choose to compromise. Speaking of which, because she was wrapped up too much today, Pei Jingshu would basically not be recognized when she walked outside. This is really no joke. Gu Huayan acted as if Pei Jingshu had never spent the winter in the north. He was afraid that she would be cold. He had all prepared earmuffs and a woolen hat for her. He covered them so tightly that his eyes were exposed. If she could recognize them again, that must be really thorough. After coming out of the high-speed rail station, looking at this familiar city and hearing the familiar accents of the people around him, Gu Huayan felt a little emotional. Taking a breath of cold air, Gu Huayan said to Pei Jingshu, do you believe that every city has a different flavor? What do you say? Pei Jingshu looked over curiously. Just like in Chongqing, you can smell the hot pot smell as soon as you land. Also like in the north, the cold in winter also has a smell, Gu Huayan said. Pei Jingshu shrugged. She understood the first half of the sentence. She could smell the smell of hot pot when she landed in Chongqing, not because the local hot pot was famous and there were many places to eat hot pot, but because there were also hot pot shops in the airport and high-speed rail stations. But she couldn't understand the second half of the sentence. People who have never experienced the coldness of northern winter probably can't understand it. What can cold taste like? Gu Huayan didn't explain it either. It's really hard to understand this kind of thing unless you grew up in the north. Gu Huayan, who was in a hurry to go home for lunch, had no time to express his emotions, so he took out his mobile phone and made a call. This way. Soon, someone came to pick them up. It was Gu Huayan's friend Wang Lu. He was considered a close friend. Most people really didn't have time to come to the high-speed rail station to pick someone up on the first day of the new year. Of course, you also have people to pick up. If you say it's two first-line stars like Gu Huayan and Pei Jingshu, I guess there will still be many people willing to pick them up. What made Gu Huiyan a little speechless was that the first thing Wang Lu said to Gu Huiyan after running over was, "Hey, long time no see, my embarrassing old baby." Gu Huiyan. At that time, Gu Huiyan went up as soon as he came. "What the hell is this? Pook." Pei Jingshu giggled beside her. Gu Huiyan's embarrassment has become popular all over the country since last night's Spring Festival Gala. Just now she only said that she covered herself very tightly and forgot to mention that Gu Huiyan covered herself very tightly too. Compared to Pei Jingshu, he is really afraid of being recognized. Okay. This wave belongs to him and he feels embarrassed. After greeting her kindly, Wang Lu asked Pei Jingshu, and Gu Huiyan generously introduced her as your sister-in-law. This made Pei Jingshu a little embarrassed. It is worth mentioning that Wang Luman was very excited and asked Gu Huiyan if he could take a photo with his sister-in-law later or get an autograph or something. Gu Huiyan was overjoyed and asked, "Why didn't I see you so excited when you saw me?" Wang Lu said that was different. We were friends who grew up together. Then the people around us would become kings and superstars. Didn't you cross the river with us and steal peaches before? It feels like no matter how popular he is still someone close to you, so familiar. Furthermore, Gu Huiyan's personality is also down to earth, and ordinary passers-by feel no sense of distance from him, let alone the people around him. Pei Jingshu is different. She is a glamorous star in everyone's heart. She is the kind who only appears in hot search topics and big-name posters. Can ordinary people not be excited when they see celebrities? You. What Gu Huiyan said was a bit hard to refute. For photos, autographs, etc., Pei Jingshu was always generous with Gu Huiyan's friends and agreed generously without saying anything. She also said that if any other friends wanted, they could also come to her. Then Wang Lu called his girlfriend on the spot, and his girlfriend called her best friend, and then, "You're kind of counting." Gu Huiyan couldn't help but give him another kiss, which made Pei Jingshu giggle. She felt that Gu Huiyan's friends were quite interesting. This is not the first time that she has followed Gu Huiyan to her hometown. Although the time gap is a bit long, she likes the city very much and feels that the people here are quite interesting and down to earth. She had a hunch that it would be interesting to go home with Gu Huiyan for a few days to celebrate the new year. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 374. On the way to drive Gu Huiyan home, Wang Lu mentioned the 2-day baby party, and then said that one of the baby girls was getting married in 2 days. It's the end of the year, and various gatherings are always indispensable. Wang Lu asked Gu Huiyan if Pei Jingshu would attend the party. Gu Huiyan would definitely ask for Pei Jingshu's opinion. She always didn't like to participate in such dinner parties. Besides, she would definitely be the protagonist if she went. How could a big star attend a party of ordinary people without being criticized? Watching. It's like watching monkeys in the zoo. If Pei Jingshu wants to go, she can go with her. If she doesn't want to go, Gu Huiyan will definitely not force her. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu was very willing to go and said she wanted to get to know more friends who knew Gu Huiyan. After all, she was not the kind of closed-minded person, and she exuded a ladylike temperament in her behavior. This caused Wang Lu to smack his lips and say it several times on the road. Gu Huiyan was really too high-spirited. If it weren't for this grandson, Zhe, driving the car, Gu Huiyan would have given him a two-legged kick. After all, the envy between the lines is true. Who can not envy Gu Huiyan for having a beautiful girlfriend like Pei Jingshu? After all, the party is the wedding. During Su Chao's wedding during the National Day, Gu Huiyan was involved in a public controversy and was not considered the best man. It also caused the entire network to feel distressed. This time everything was back to normal, and the best man probably didn't run away. It's not a busy year this year, so there should be no problem, Gu Huiyan said casually. Pei Jingshu next to him could actually feel that Gu Huiyan was more relaxed when he returned home. Although he spoke to Wang Lu in the local dialect, it sounded a bit rustic and his whole temperament was affected. But you listening to them talk, you can feel the familiarity between them. The two of them were chatting along the way, but Pei Jingshu didn't feel left out. After all, Gu Huiyan always held her hand to help her warm it. She was cold these days. We walked on the highway and arrived home just after 12 o'clock. Sorry to bother you. Pei Jingshu was always very polite, and she didn't look like a star at all, which earned her the respect of Gu Huiyan's friends. No trouble, no trouble. This made Wang Lu quite flattered. When he got home downstairs, Gu Huiyan politely called him to go upstairs for dinner. Wang Lu said he wanted to go to New Year's greetings, but Gu Huiyan refused and pulled him and said, "Let's go home and have a bite to eat. It's all downstairs, how can we chase people away for a meal? Let's go, let's go." Then Wang Lu had to leave, giving various excuses. No, no, no. Next time, next time. If something really happens, go back and have a drink later. Then Gu Huiyan sent him away with a pity look. Look at you. Okay, okay, please go slower on the road. This repeated pulling of red tape made Pei Jingshu laugh at the side. Although the two of them seemed to be playing tricks on each other, it still felt quite real. I've long heard that you Shandong people are hospitable, and I've learned a lot today, Pei Jingshu said. Gu Huiyan grinned, but didn't take it seriously, and said, "Have you never seen any of our relatives here?" Gu Huiyan told Pei Jingshu that when he was a child, he and his mother went out to visit relatives, and the gifts they brought must be sent back to relatives before leaving. The most cruel one was when he went to an uncle's house, and they were sent from home to the head of the village. Pook. Pei Jingshu was amused. As for it, Gu Huiyan shrugged and spread his hands. You'll know after you take a walk with me in 2 days. We're all just being influenced by what we hear and see. Pei Jingshu covered her mouth and smiled, and naturally held Gu Huiyan's arm. Ding. Just in time, the elevator arrived. This was the second time Pei Jingshu came to Gu Huiyan's house, so she had a clean relationship. However, last time there was no one at home but Gu Huiyan. This time Gu Huiyan's mother and brother were both at home, so she was a little nervous. Gu Huiyan could feel her hand holding his arm tightening slightly. Are you nervous? Before entering, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but asked in a funny way. Of course, after all, this is my first time meeting Aunt. Pei Jingshu found 2 bags among the things she brought, which were New Year's gifts for Gu's mother and Gu Zun. She had met Gu Zun before, but this was the first time she met Gu's mother. After all, her brother was the same age and still a junior, so she didn't need to take him too seriously, but her mother was the elder, so she definitely had to take him seriously. Are you nervous too? Gu Huiyan was overjoyed. To be honest, this was the first time he saw Pei Jingshu nervous. You know, Pei Jingshu, who has been debuting for many years, no matter what stage or scene she faces, even if it was in front of the whole country on the Spring Festival Gala yesterday, the audience never saw her nervous. Well, I went home with him to meet his parents today, but I was so nervous. It's actually not cold anymore in the corridor after leaving the elevator. Every house has a heater, and you can wear short sleeves when entering the house. Pei Jingshu specifically took off her thick woolen hat, mask, and scarf, and also took off her down jacket to Gu Huiyan, leaving only the blue sweater and pink jacket underneath. Speaking of which, she also attaches great importance to meeting Gu Huiyan's parents. She has been thinking about what to wear a few days in advance. First of all, it must not be too frivolous and cannot expose any flesh. Of course, it must not be exposed in winter. Secondly, it must look good. Be more formal, be nice, and be the kind that parents will like. It can't be flashy or too brightly colored. Also, don't wear anything that is too expensive. It will look like your daughter-in-law doesn't know how to live her life, and her elders who spend money lavishly will not like it, right? But the problem is that she doesn't seem to have many inexpensive clothes. The cheapest ones start at a few thousand yuan. A few days ago, she even asked her assistant to go to her apartment in Shanghai to help her find some clothes and bring them over. Gu Huiyan felt that she paid more attention to what she wore to see her mother than to the Spring Festival gala. One night when she saw that she was very distressed, Gu Huiyan said that you can just wear whatever you usually wear at home. Pei Jingshu said, how can you wear home clothes to meet people? Don't hurt me, okay? Gu Huiyan could only say that you can wear whatever you usually wear on that day, just be casual. In fact, the clothes Pei Jingshu usually wears are not very colorful, and she never takes the marginal route. Her clothes are quite conservative, and parents will not be picky about them. As for whether it's expensive or not, many parents don't care too much about it these days, not to mention that it's not like Gu Huiyan can't afford it. She is so considerate of others. In the end, after much selection, I chose something that looked cleaner. Is it really okay if I don't have any makeup? Do I need to put on makeup temporarily? After finally looking in the mirror and tidying up, Pei Jingshu wanted to touch up her makeup again. Before coming here, she searched online for things to note when meeting parents for the first time. She didn't know where she found someone who said she should try not to wear makeup because her elders didn't like girls wearing heavy makeup. Then she really didn't wear any makeup. Although she is naturally beautiful, Pei Jingshu's pretty face does not need makeup to look beautiful, and she is not afraid to see people without makeup, but in fact, for female celebrities, full makeup is a sign of respect for others. So after coming here, she was wondering whether it would look disrespectful to her elders if she didn't wear makeup. I'm telling you, I'm really hungry. I just want to eat quickly and then take a nap. We've been smelling here for most of the day. Gu Huiyan held his forehead in silence. After coming down from the Spring Festival gala, they went back to pack their things and went straight to the high-speed rail station. They didn't take much rest in between. The Spring Festival gala ended last night after midnight, and they didn't eat or sleep well. I'm really hungry and sleepy right now. Because I had greeted Mother Gu in advance, there must be some meat stew at home. The familiar smell of meat filled the corridor. Gu Huiyan really couldn't stand it after standing at the door for a long time. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but give him a big roll of her eyes, took a deep breath, and then stepped forward to knock on the door. Dong dong dong. After knocking on the door, he stood next to Gu Huiyan obediently, looking shy. Gu Huiyan had a key, but he didn't go home often, so the key was stuffed a little deep, and he had a lot of things that were difficult to get, so he just knocked on the door. Coming. Guzun's voice came from home, and when the door opened, Gu Huiyan's mother and brother came to pick her up at the same time. Hello, Aunt. Pei Jingshu seemed a little embarrassed and nervous, and her voice was trembling. Hey, come in quickly. Mother Gu was always happy when she saw Pei Jingshu. She took Pei Jingshu's hand and walked inside, asking for help. Is it cold outside? Quickly, come in and warm yourself up. Guzun, go and serve tea to your sister-in-law. Why are your hands so cold, kid? This mother didn't care about Gu Huiyan's life or death at all. She didn't even look at Gu Huiyan and focused on greeting Pei Jingshu. Pei Jingshu felt a little flattered and kept saying, Auntie who is not cold. Thank you, Aunt. Maybe it was because of various things in the past 6 months. I always felt a little ashamed when I met Gu's mother Pei Jingshu for the first time. I was also afraid that Gu's mother would blame her, so I wasn't very relaxed. but who would have thought that Gu Huiyan's mother was so enthusiastic, and Pei Jingshu could tell from the expression on the face and the look in the eyes of this middle-aged woman who was over 50 that she liked him. Look. While Gu's mother rubbed Pei Jingshu's fair and smooth hands with her somewhat rough hands, she praised and sighed. These hands are so tender, like a child's. You're all seen on TV. You're prettier in person than on TV. The praise made Pei Jingshu blush a little, but she was still good at talking, and she said, Auntie is also very beautiful. Your two sons have inherited your excellent genes. Seeing that Gu Ma's hands were a little rough, she said, You have raised two sons with your own hands. What Gu Ma said was quite helpful. In fact, when Gu Ma lamented that Pei Jingshu's hands were tender and white, Pei Jingshu could see some of Gu Ma's sadness. Gu Ma's hands are very rough, probably from working in a shop all year round. There are traces of burns on her hands. There are also scars left by accidentally cutting her hands with a knife. There are also cracks in the nails and there are many calluses. Women, at any age, will envy those girls who are very beautiful, white and tender. Pei Jingshu is a female star, let alone an ordinary girl, she is outstanding even among female stars. She is in such good condition in real life, it would be a lie to say I don't envy her. Her hands and Gu Ma's hands were really two extremes. And Pei Jingshu's words, these hands have raised two sons, are a statement of high emotional intelligence, which instantly dispelled Gu's mother's sadness, as if telling her that you should be proud. This kid is really good at talking. Gu Ma always enjoys it, and she is satisfied with everything she sees Pei Jingshu. She is beautiful, has good temperament, is polite, respects her elders and has high emotional intelligence. Where can I find such a daughter-in-law? Guzun, where's the tea? It's not brewed yet. I told you to wash the cups in advance but you just didn't listen. Do you think you can do some more? She liked Pei Jingshu so much that she provoked her younger son's fault. After waiting for a long time, she didn't give Pei Jingshu tea. Couldn't Ma Gu show her spirit as the head of the family? Ah! Guzun responded casually, giving people time to brew the tea. No, Mom, why don't you help me put things away first? Gu Huiyan slumped down on the sofa opposite in boredom, pointing to the few suitcases brought back from the door. To be honest, he had been watching there for a long time. He was so embarrassed to disturb Gu Ma and Pei Jingshu when they were so close. This made Gu Huiyan doubt whether he was his biological son or whether Pei Jingshu was his biological daughter. Is this going back to your own home? I've been home for a long time, and Mother Gu has been paying attention to Pei Jingshu, but she hasn't even said a word to him. You can't do it yourself. Gu's mother glared at Gu Huiyan and said with a disgusting look on her face. Are you without arms or legs? This isn't your home, is it? You still don't know where to put your things. Gu Huiyan was confused by this tutu, and asked strangely. Mom, have you taken gun medicine? Now that he has just come back, why should he be given such a lesson just by saying a word? I'm telling you, stop talking to me. I think you're annoyed. Gu's mother had no patience with Gu Huiyan at all. After saying this, she even told Gu Huiyan to pack his things and stop being an eyesore in front of him. Gu Huiyan was dumbfounded at that time. In other words, you haven't seen your son for several months, so you wouldn't be like this when you first met, right? Gu Huiyan usually goes home for a long time. Generally speaking, Gu's mother still treats him very dearly in the first few days after going back. Maybe it won't be like this when the new energy subsides, but he will definitely be treated very dearly in the first few days. But what's going on this time? Gu Huiyan clearly remembered that when he called his mother a few days ago, the conversation was quite normal. Gu's mother also said that she missed him. Why did he have this attitude when he came back? It's as if she wishes Gu Huiyan could leave right away. Hey, I just came back. Pei Jingshu was also confused at the sight. There was no anger in Ma Gu's tone, but she couldn't have this attitude when she just met her son, right? Although she is an aunt, it is natural for her mother to train her son no matter what, but Pei Jingshu will definitely feel sorry for Gu Huiyan. He was just about to ask what was going on and defend Gu Huiyan, but at this moment, Gu Zun came out with several cups of tea, and then explained to the confused Gu Huiyan. Mom, you were laughed at today when you went out to celebrate the new year. Don't you know how embarrassing it was for you to attend the Spring Festival Gala last night? As soon as these words came out, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu were stunned at the same time. Pook. Then Pei Jingshu couldn't help laughing. She lightly covered her red lips with her beautiful hand, lowered her head and snickered. Gu Huiyan was confused at that time, looking at Gu Zun and then at Gu's mother. No, just because of this. Gu Huiyan was numb. He asked why his mother had been treating him so strangely after returning home. If he hadn't taken the initiative to talk to him just now, her mother wouldn't have been willing to talk to him. The same thing happened when I walked in. I just faced Pei Jingshu and didn't even look at him. I always disliked him. Okay, now the truth is out? Is it because of this? Giggle. The corners of Pei Jingshu's mouth were harder to suppress than AK at this moment. She looked at Gu Huiyan with eyes that seemed to say, "Do you know how embarrassing you are?" She thought Mother Gu was angry with Gu Huiyan for something, and she felt sorry for Gu Huiyan and wanted to adjust. But if this is the case, well, Pei Jingshu had no objection at all when Gu Ma was training Gu Huiyan. Because even she couldn't help but dislike Gu Huiyan at the Spring Festival Gala last night. Hurry up and pack your things. Don't hang around in front of my eyes. Don't come out unless I ask you to eat. I'll get annoyed when I see you. While Gu Ma was teaching Gu Huiyan, she did not forget to comfort Pei Jingshu and said, "It has nothing to do with you, kid. Auntie didn't scare you, did she?" No. Pei Jingshu held back her laughter and waved her hands repeatedly, saying, I understand your aunt. She almost said you did the right thing. Sister-in-law drinks tea." Gu Zun obediently served tea to Pei Jingshu and also poured tea for his own mother, but Gu Huiyan didn't have it. The corner of Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched. "You don't even treat your brother as a human being, do you? You don't pour tea for your brother?" Gu Zun rolled his eyes and said, "No, you are not my brother. My brother is gone." After saying that, he grabbed the tray and ran away. "You." Gu Huiyan was done with his anger. The resentment from his mother could not be cured, so he couldn't take it out on Gu Zun anymore. "Come here, kid. Don't ask for lucky money this year. I can kill you and me." Gu Huiyan gritted his teeth and slapped Gu Zun there. "There is quite a lot of commotion. You two, keep your voices down." Mother Gu couldn't help shouting. What would it sound like for the neighbors to hear? She held Pei Jingshu's hand and said, "Don't be surprised. They have been like this since they were young and are used to it." Pei Jingshu must have said it doesn't matter. She doesn't dislike the atmosphere in Gu Huiyan's house. Although the fights are noisy, they are still quite lively. It is not difficult to see that their family has a good relationship. Hitting means kissing and scolding means loving. The two brothers were arguing for a while. Mother Gu got annoyed and shouted, "Gu Huiyan, there must be some movement when you come back." Gu Huiyan. Yes, he is the only bad guy in the whole family. Gu Huiyan really didn't expect that just because of his performance on the Spring Festival Gala last night, he would be despised by everyone today. There is no way I can live this day. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 375. The sunshine on the first day of the new year is very good. The winter sun in the north is always very bright, and it can basically shine into the room at noon. The balcony of Gu Huiyan's house is connected to the living room. The floor is not low, more than 10 floors, and the lighting is very good. At noon, the blazing sunlight shines on the white floor of the house, making the whole house bright and warm. Friend on the left. On the TV, the replay of last night's Spring Festival Gala was playing. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but the scene of Gu Huiyan's social awesomeness at the Spring Festival Gala last night was playing. Because the eldest son brought his girlfriend back, we cooked a lot of dishes at home. There were already a lot of them on the table, but there was still nothing left in the kitchen. The whole house is filled with the aroma of sauce, meat, vegetables. Of course, there is also the smell of perfume on Pei Jingshu's body and the smell of laundry detergent at home. Gu Ma helped Pei Jingshu pour water, held her hand and chatted enthusiastically. The picture always looks very warm. Ah! Mom! Help me! In the room, there would often be a sound like killing a pig. Gu Huiyan finally took out his anger on his younger brother. The two of them have been like this since they were young. Gu Ma silently held her forehead and told Pei Jingshu some stories about Gu Huiyan and Gu Zun when they were young. It is said that these two brothers were troubled when they were young. Even though they are several years apart in age, they do almost exactly the same things. When he was a child and lived in his hometown village, Gu Huiyan didn't like to wash his face. Then you forced him to wash his face. When he was forced, he found the charcoal that was burned in the winter, blackened his hands and wiped them on his face. Mother Gu was so angry that she chased him with a broom and beat him for a long time. The crux of the matter is that his younger brother did the same thing when he was that age. His brother has never been easy to teach. When Gu Ma mentioned this, she said it was Gu Huiyan who taught her, so Gu Huiyan was still unjust. Who is a good person who has no time to teach this stuff? Pook. Pei Jingshu was amused and giggled, but she didn't expect that Gu Huiyan was so naughty when he was a child. Gu's mother became more and more enthusiastic as she talked, and wanted to share with Pei Jingshu some of the bad things that happened to Gu Huiyan when she was a child. She wanted to take advantage of Gu Huiyan's absence. But soon, there was a sound of a pot boiling in the kitchen. Ah! Gu Ma stood up immediately and ran to the kitchen while shouting to the two brothers fighting in the room. It's all because of the fuss you two made. I forgot there was meat stewing in the kitchen. Gu Huiyan and Gu Zun were aggrieved in the room. Do you think it was because they were having trouble? That was just because Gu Ma and Pei Jingshu were chatting animatedly. You forgot, do you blame your two sons? It makes these two sons look like they are not biological children. Pei Jingshu, who was sitting in the living room holding the tea made by Gu Huiyan's brother, smiled and watched this scene. There is a heater at home, which is very warm. The sun is good today, and the sunshine can also make people feel good. After drinking tea for a while, Gu Ma held her hand to warm it for a while. At this time, Pei Jingshu had completely warmed up. My hands are quite warm. But what made her feel warmer was probably the atmosphere of this home. This family has such a good relationship. Moreover, she was not regarded as an outsider at all, and she even felt that she was closer to Gu Ma than the Gu Huiyan brothers. Pei Jingshu couldn't help but think that with such a mother-in-law, if there was another conflict between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, then the daughter-in-law would have to find her own problems. Yesterday, on New Year's Eve, Gu Huiyan didn't come back from the Spring Festival Gala, so he didn't have the New Year's Eve dinner. When Pei Jingshu comes back at the beginning of the year today, Gu's mother must be well prepared. The dining table at home is filled with dishes, such as Chinese New Year sausages, stewed pork ribs, pig's trotters, fried yellow rice cakes, lotus roots, hairtail fish, including spicy fried large intestine, tripe, etc. Basically all of them are mountain food. The standard equipment for Chinese New Year in winter areas. Northerners always have a rich New Year dinner table, with not only many dishes, but also plenty of portions. The table at home is not very big, so Gu Ma basically doesn't use big plates to serve food, but only small real plates. Afraid that Pei Jingshu wouldn't be used to the simple and crude food in the north, Gu's mother specially fried shrimps with celery and fungus, cooked a white sugar cucumber, stir-fried eggs with minced garlic, shredded pork with garlic sprouts, and cut up a plate of beef, mixed with preserved eggs. That table is wow. Auntie, did you do all this? Pei Jingshu was stunned. At first, when Gu's mother called Guzun to bring out the dishes, Pei Jingshu was a little dumbfounded when she saw Guzun bringing out plate after plate. When all the dishes were served, she was really dumbfounded. Even if many housewives were allowed to work on this large table, she would probably have to work on it for a whole day. This is too rich. Eat whatever you want. Gu Ma seemed very humble at the moment. She wiped her hands and walked into the kitchen and said, "There's another fish, it'll be ready soon, you guys eat it first." Anything else? Pei Jingshu couldn't help but glance at Gu Huiyan. She had heard Gu Huiyan praise his mother many times before for her good craftsmanship and home-cooked food. Who would have thought that she would be so exaggerated? She just doesn't have time to open a shop. Otherwise, if she cooks and eats for both of us every day, both of us will have to weigh more than 200 pounds. Gu Huiyan looked very ordinary. He pulled up a chair and sat down. Before his mother came over, he took a piece of lotus root and stuffed it into his mouth. You don't follow so many rules in your own home. If you come home during the Chinese New Year and act upright, that would be too foreign. No wonder you are so good at eating. Pei Jingshu recalled that when she and Gu Huiyan were recording programs in Yunnan, she always wondered how Gu Huiyan came up with so many weird foods, such as cucumber mixed with fried dough sticks and fried steamed bun slices. It turns out that everything has traces to follow. Today is indeed quite rich. Gu Huiyan scratched his head, picked up a piece of fried hairtail and ate it, while shouting to his mother in the kitchen. "Mom, you treat me differently. When did our family have such a prosperous New Year in the past?" This is true. Their family is not that big, just 3 people. They cook too much and may not eat it, so even the New Year's Eve dinner only consists of a few of the brothers' favorite dishes. My family does buy New Year products, but they are basically made for guests when they come over during the New Year days. When relatives come over, there are a lot of dishes cooked at home, and there is a big table, but not as much as today, so exaggerated. In response, Gu Ma just glared at Gu Huiyan and said, "Just stop climbing. When have you been missing something since I was a kid?" Maybe Gu's mother has been busy opening a shop to make money these years, but she really hasn't treated the brothers badly when it comes to food. Gu Huiyan shrugged and did not refute, because today there was a large table of dishes, although it was rare for people to gather here together like this before, but he had basically eaten every dish. It tastes like home. Try this. Gu Huiyan peeled off the spines from the hairtail in his hand and handed it to Pei Jingshu. It is worth mentioning that he ate it with his hands and peeled it for Pei Jingshu with chopsticks. Very particular about it? Pei Jingshu shook her head and whispered, "Let's wait until Auntie comes. Forget it if you don't help, but it's not appropriate to use chopsticks without waiting for the aunt." "It's okay." Gu Huiyan knew that she was polite, so he glanced at the kitchen and saw his mother busy finishing the fish, so he whispered to Pei Jingshu, "Come on, you have a taste first, I just won't tell my mother." Pei Jingshu originally wanted to refuse, but after seeing that Huiyan had peeled it for herself, the fried hairtail fish was indeed quite tempting. She has been smelling the aroma of the food at home for a long time since she entered the door, and she has been hungry for a long time. So after taking a peek at Gu's mother in the kitchen, she didn't refuse. She quietly opened her red lips and let Gu Huiyan stuff the peeled hairtail into his mouth. At that moment, Pei Jingshu suddenly remembered the first time she met Gu Huiyan, when he secretly called her to eat ice cream where her sister couldn't see her. Being with Gu Huiyan, it seems that such stealing scenes are always inevitable. I really miss it. Is it delicious? Gu Huiyan asked. Yeah, Pei Jingshu nodded. This hairtail fish has been pickled, wrapped in starch and soaked through. It tastes pretty good, moderately salty, and is no worse than the ones made in restaurants outside. You guys eat first, you don't have to wait for me. At the right time, Gu Ma brought the last dish of steamed sturgeon to the table. She saw Pei Jingshu sitting there obediently without moving her chopsticks. The more she looked at it, the more she liked it. On the other hand, none of her two sons were waiting for her. Although they didn't move their chopsticks, the two greedy sons had already fried several pieces of fried food and ate them. I chewed until my mouth and hands were all oily. Comparing him with Pei Jingshu, he is like a person from two different worlds. You two heartless people, can you learn from Jingshu? Mother Gu sometimes wonders if she is really too spoiled to her two sons, and is she really neglectful of discipline? In the past, when Gu Huiyan was scolded as unqualified, she had thought that it was her own responsibility. It is worth mentioning that Pei Jingshu blushed a little after hearing this, and her eyes were a little ashamed, because just now she also took a sneaky bite. But she will definitely not say this. But it's not certain whether Gu Huiyan will. Look at this moment, the old man is looking at Pei Jingshu with a half-smiling look. Don't. Pei Jingshu blushed. Not wanting to embarrass herself in front of her elders, she anxiously tugged at the corner of Gu Huiyan's clothes under the table. Gu Huiyan, who was kind and considerate, didn't expose her, he just laughed. Look at that worthless look on your smile. Gu's mother looked disgusted with him, but she also saw Pei Jingshu secretly tugging at the corner of Gu Huiyan's clothes, which made Gu's mother couldn't help but smile like an ant, feeling that her son and daughter-in-law were quite close. Okay, let's use the chopsticks. I am happy today. It is rare for Gu's mother to open a bottle of red wine. This wine was given to Gu Huiyan by a friend last year. Gu Huiyan took it home because he was not too happy to drink red wine. He planned to give it to his relatives when they came to the house. But Gu Ma was never willing to give it to her relatives, so she kept it. Speaking of which, although Gu Huiyan is a good drinker, he almost never drinks at home. Pei Jingshu knows this because no one in the family drinks. People who don't drink hate the smell of tobacco and alcohol. He drinks alone and gets everywhere. It's not necessary if it smells like alcohol. Auntie, wait a moment. Before Mrsku raised her glass, Pei Jingshu suddenly interrupted and then picked up two gift bags prepared in advance from the side of the table. I brought you a gift. One of the older ones is for Gu Ma, and the smaller one is for Gu Zun. Gu Huiyan smiled helplessly. If you want him to tell you, can you just bring the gift in? But it seems that Pei Jingshu is a bit particular about this aspect, saying that gifts must be exchanged at the dinner table. But there is one thing to say, giving gifts at this time does seem to be quite entertaining. Mother Gu was very surprised because the gift Pei Jingshu gave her was a coat that felt good to the touch. There was a trademark on the back of the coat. It seemed to be an international brand. It seemed to be a limited edition and worth hundreds of thousands. What was given to Guzun was a watch for young people. He probably wouldn't have much use for it now, but it would be just right for him when he becomes an adult in 2 years. The value is around hundreds of thousands. Ahem. Gu Huiyan was drinking water, but after seeing these two gifts, he almost squirted. Then he looked at Pei Jingshu with strange eyes. What happened? Pei Jingshu was still surprised, thinking there was something wrong with the gift she chose. No. It's okay. Gu Huiyan waved his hand but didn't say anything. Fortunately, his mother didn't know the value of that dress very well, otherwise it wouldn't be possible whether he would dare to wear it. Who in an ordinary family can afford to wear a coat worth hundreds of thousands apiece? Then it's not worth the money if it's made of gold. Hundreds of thousands are enough to buy a second-hand house in a small county below the second-tier city. His own mother knew it herself. Gu Huiyan felt that if her mother knew the value of this dress, she would definitely be reluctant to wear it and wish she could pay for it. There was no way, their family's views were like this, and they had been like this for decades. Even if Gu Huiyan's income skyrocketed after he became famous, and he transferred a lot of money to his mother, these views could not be changed easily. Guzun is not that bad, this kid is eager to give him some luxury goods to show off. The reason why Gu Huiyan reacted like that just now was because he felt that Pei Jingshu's gift was wrong. Wouldn't it appear that Pei Jingshu was too thoughtful if it was too expensive? I just think. His own mother was frightened when she found out about the price. When Pei Jingshu asked Gu Huiyan for his opinion before buying a gift, Gu Huiyan really didn't have any idea and just ignored it. How could he have thought that the gift she brought was so expensive? But what surprised Gu Huiyan was, Mom even prepared a red envelope for Pei Jingshu. In fact, there is no such thing as a girlfriend coming to give red envelopes here. They usually give red envelopes when they are engaged or change their mind. But who made Gu Ma so satisfied with Pei Jingshu? The old lady is not short of money. Gu Huiyan usually transfers money home when he has nothing to do, often tens or even millions. He is not short of money, there are not many places to use the money, and he does not know how to give it to his family. Suffer. So the red envelope that Gu's mother gave Pei Jingshu was really quite big, totaling more than 600,000 yuan, and she chose an auspicious number, 666,666. This was something Gu Huiyan didn't even expect. He had the impression that his mother was a frugal person and generally not so extravagant. Gu Huiyan thought that the coat that cost hundreds of thousands apiece was frightened when she heard the price. She never thought that someone would throw away a red envelope worth more than 600,000 yuan. Gu Huiyan felt that it was time to re-evaluate his understanding of his mother. This one is really impressive. Pei Jingshu must have declined, but Gu Ma said that this is Gu Huiyan's money anyway, and what's his is yours, who holds it differently. This actually made Pei Jingshu blush a little and feel a little embarrassed. Okay, the dishes are cold. Use your chopsticks and hurry up. After exchanging gifts, it's time to use chopsticks. It's worth mentioning that brothers Gu Huiyan and Guzun ate exactly the same food. They both devoured the food, which made Gu's mother feel so embarrassed. She kept scolding them both. On the contrary, Pei Jingshu ate slowly and chatted with Gu's mother from time to time, which made Gu's mother more and more satisfied. Well, her appearance and temperament are the kind of obedient type that elders like. She is also so polite and sensible. What elder can't like her? This made Gu Huiyan and Guzun look like outsiders. After dinner, Gu Ma simply handed over the work of washing pots and dishes to Gu Huiyan and Guzun, and took Pei Jingshu's hand to the living room to bask in the sun and drink tea. You can't buy a dishwasher, Gu Huiyan complained as he cleaned up. Then the dishwasher is free, Gu's mother rolled her eyes. I didn't see you worrying about the money when I first gave you the red envelope, Gu Huiyan's mouth twitched. More than 600,000 yuan in red envelopes are given to you as soon as you ask, and you can't bear to buy a dishwasher worth tens of thousands of yuan. There is really no one left. I was really sleepy after the meal. I didn't even take a break after returning from the Spring Festival Gala last night before catching the high-speed train. After drinking and eating, Gu Huiyan felt sleepy early. It was time to go to bed in the afternoon, so he simply washed a few dishes. He left it to Guzun and ran to his room to sleep. Guzun must have complained, but Gu Huiyan handed over a New Year's money red envelope worth tens of thousands of yuan with his backhand. Not only did his brother's complaints go away, he even asked me if my shoulders were sore or my back was stiff. Do you need it? Massage? The money ability is really easy to use. Gu Huiyan wanted to let Pei Jingshu take a rest. After all, she was with him at the Spring Festival Gala last night. But Pei Jingsha said that she wanted to go to the new house with Gu Ma to take a look. Oh yes, I forgot to mention that Gu's mother bought a house for Gu Huiyan in a local villa area in a good location some time ago, and it is being renovated recently. Their family is not short of money now. Gu Huiyan's current monthly income starts from 7 to 8 figures. There is nothing wrong with the community where he lives now. Gu Huiyan doesn't go home often. Guzun and Gu's mother will definitely have a house. It's enough to live in. But privacy is not good. After all, he is a well-known artist and a big star. Gu Huiyan's home is always watched by various people. During the National Day period, when he was not working at home, he was often blocked by people at the door. The elevators were not password controlled. Sometimes there are people blocking the door of the corridor at home. Maybe they didn't have bad intentions, and they even came to encourage Gu Huiyan, but after all, they also disturbed Gu Huiyan's private life, so who doesn't want to have a little private life? You can't always be in the audience's sight. So at that time, Gu Huiyan asked Gu's mother to find a more private community to buy a suite. If that didn't work, she might as well go to the city. Sometimes, being a star is not an easy thing.